Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyonka's Playhouse. I am your host tonight, Beyonka, and I am live inside of Beyonka Studios with a lot of people. We are, of course, Kiara, my beautiful co-host. She comes in from time to time. Hopefully, she'll start coming in more often and stop leaving me abandoned in the Playhouse. But we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to introduce our other guest today. So we have Mr. Kaashif Muhammad.
Hello, how's everybody?
On. And his wives. Are we there? Listen. Y'all do they know that we on YouTube too? Do they know that y'all watching us too?
Right, YouTube, they never go anywhere.
The producers just be caring about the Facebook Live. Shout out to everybody watching via YouTube. We gonna pause for just a hot second until they tell us what's going on. Facebook always acting up. It's always Facebook that's acting up.
We not live yet?
Oh, okay, now they see us. No. All right, Facebook. Welcome back. We are live inside of Beyonka Studios, and we're here. I'm introducing. I can't even go on, you guys. You know I'm trying to be professional Facebook, but my producers behind the scenes be telling me a million different things. Okay.
We on?
Okay, now we know. Now we're rocking. So we're gonna go ahead and roll this thing right on over to the guests. So I'm gonna allow them to introduce themselves, starting with the Mr. first.
Okay. My name is Kaashif Muhammad. I'm from Baltimore. I'm 33 years old, Baltimore native, and I've been living here all my life. And just recently, in 2014, moved to Wilmington, Delaware.
I'm Saabirah. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware.
I'm Jameelah. I'm from everywhere.
And I'm Laylah, and I'm from Philadelphia.
Welcome, everybody, to Beyonka Studios. It is an honor to have each and every one of you inside of the studio with me tonight.
We thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And so before we get into our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you guys know that, of course, this topic tonight is a topic that many of us have heard about, but not all of us have had the opportunity to actually hear the facts about polygamy, and we also have, not all of us have had the opportunity. Polygyny. Oh, but let me say something.
We didn't learn.
Yeah, I'm about to say we're gonna learn a lot tonight because personally, I've been calling it polygamy for a long time, but I was just told tonight that that's a whole different thing. So we're gonna learn about all of that tonight, and we have the perfect person to tell us about all of it. How about maybe I should turn my microphone on, and then you probably will be able to hear me so much better. So now that we got the microphone on and you guys can hear me clearly, I'm going to allow them, and I might even let you use my microphone when you talk, because this microphone be popping. This rose gold is something else. But I want to just make sure that everyone knows that as we are definitely making sure that we have this informative show for you guys tonight, I want you to please, any comments or any questions that you have, make sure they are respectful. Please don't make me put you in your place, because it's not going to be cute. I'm trying to be nice tonight because I got these nice guests here tonight. So don't make me act out on you. So make sure that your questions and your comments are respectable, and we'll definitely address them. So clearly, we can't see everybody's questions and comments right away. So we can't just address them right away. However, we will have a period in the show where we'll have my behind the scenes producer read the comments to you guys. Read the comments that you guys leave, and we'll try to answer. Well, I'm not going to say we will, because I won't be answering absolutely anything. But they will definitely try and answer as many questions that you guys have. So of course tonight, if you read the promo for tonight, the show is on polygamy, but you guys are in for a treat because you're gonna learn a lot of things that I didn't even know about polygamy, poly. I'm not even gonna do that to myself. What I'm gonna do is pass this microphone to the guest and allow him to just start off with explaining to us exactly what that is.
Okay. Again, thank you, and on behalf of my family here, we want to say thank you for having us as a guest. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for coming.
No problem. So there's three concepts, or not three concepts. You have three different terminologies. You have polygyny, which is what we as Muslims practice, and polygyny is where a man can have multiple spouses with a limitation of 4, with responsibility, provision, and etc. Then you have polygamy, which she mentioned. Polygamy is where, in our religion, that do not practice that, is that where a woman can have multiple partners, and also a man can have multiple partners. And then you have polyandry. Polyandry is the practice of a woman having multiple partners alone. So polygyny is for a man to have multiple partners alone. In our religion, a limit of 4. And polyandry is the practice of a woman having multiple partners. And polygamy, which she mentioned, is both genders having multiple partners, like that. So we were invited on the show today to kind of give a overview on the way we live, why we are doing polygyny, why they more so chose polygyny, because I know there's a lot of questions from women, not me, I can't do that, something like that. But I guess that, they're here speaking from their own mouth to tell you why they chose it, and et cetera, like that. Okay?
So before we go, and of course, we all want to hear from the women, especially I want to hear from the women. But I just want to ask you, as the husband, what is the benefit? First of all, I want you to give everybody in the audience the meaning or the benefits of polygamy in Islam, as well as polygamy for you, the benefits of it.
I'll first start, and I should have did this before. Say Bismillah. That means in the name of God. We start off by praising God with everything. So in the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful. Our first purpose in life, us as humans, we have to recognize our purpose. In Islam, it teaches us in the 51st chapter of the Quran, verse 56, that we were created only for the purpose of serving God. And that's our purpose. So we know that he knows better than us. He governs our lives, and he created us to have a lifestyle that's pleasing to him. So we also were created with desires, So it's kind of a test, or it is a test, depending on are we going to follow our desires or follow what God said do. So in this religion, we are subscribed to polygyny. It's not mandatory. That's what I want to say. Polygyny is not mandatory on a man. A man does not have, just because you're Muslim, it does not mean that he has to go get a second, third, or fourth wife. He can be with one wife if he chooses the rest of his life if he wants to. The benefit, the number one benefit, and it's for man and the woman, the number one benefit is that if we get into this type of relationship, we're pleasing the Creator because it's something he's legislated. That's number one. Now, there's so many, I'm not going to go in a particular order, but some benefits are that you're going to, with a man and a wife already in a social family parameter like this, you're going to have a positive or a righteous upbringing of the children, which will be good for the neighborhood and then the society and the nation and so on like that. So if you have multiple families like that, then you're just going to be producing or cultivating little ones, little babies to be righteous, mature adults in the long run, serving the purpose of their Creator, like that. So that's the major benefit. Now then you have personal benefits within doing that, and then we can speak on that.
Okay, so wait, I swear I'm gonna get to the women. I just gotta ask another question.
Can you hear me?
So, can everybody hear the brother? Well, because he's not talking directly into that microphone that I gave him. However, I'm still gonna let him hold it because he definitely got he got a loud voice. But if anybody can't hear at any time, please let me know respectfully. Again, let me know, and I'll definitely make sure that we talk up so that you guys can hear everything. What you can't, you don't see it? Is it on there? Are you good? Is there a comment that you need me to address? Because you know what is it?
Halima Martin King said, Assalamu alaikum. Polygamy with a financially stable enough to Islamically support all families involved, man and.
Oh, okay. We're going, Halima, sister-in-law. We definitely gonna get into questions. I thought it was something different. We're gonna definitely have a section where we ask questions. It's not a question, it's a statement or restatements. But it's my question time right now.
That's
so, but yeah, heck, Halima, you made me forget, and it was good.
You said you want to get to the woman, but you wanted to ask the man.
I wanted to ask you a question. Oh, okay. This is for me.
Someone said I can hear, but speak up, please.
Okay. I'm curious to know, is it mandatory for a woman to accept polygamy in Islam?
All right. So when you become a Muslim, or when you're interested in becoming a Muslim, it's not about polygyny. It's about submission.
I keep saying polygamy, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get it together.
That's fine. It's about, our religion is about submission to God. So a lot of people, sometimes they focus on that one aspect, but Allah says, excuse me, our creator God, Allah, he says in the Quran that, "O you who believe, enter into Islam submission wholeheartedly." So we don't become Muslim to accept one part and not the other. We accept it all. So we accept it all like that. So for us, we accept it, and by being a woman, when they are researching Islam before they're Muslim, they research that topic, they come across it anyway, and then they make a conscious decision, because I'm almost sure, but they can speak on it, that who accepts Islam, then they are of the understanding that aspect of Islam is coming with it. So it depends on the level of faith of the person who Allah guides and chooses to guide and keep on the straight path, depending on the person's sincerity and striving and effort.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yes, okay. That definitely, and that makes sense. So, okay, thank you for answering that for me. So, I guess we can start with whoever would like to go first. And I'll let you start with the questions first, because I'm just so big, because you've been quiet over here. But yeah, so of course you all are watching. These are the beautiful wives, and you want me to start?
Oh, I'm comfortable, you know.
I'm about to say, come on, you can start. And so, just questions that we just all want to know.
Okay, so we're gonna introduce you guys first. I'm gonna go right in order. So before you answer a question, you can just say your name, and if you don't mind saying your age, and that's fine.
Girl, I want to tell their age. Girl, I want to tell them their age. I mean, I'm not saying our age.
That's if they want to. If you feel comfortable, do that. It almost like I say age because I wonder, like, is it a maturity thing? You know what I mean? Like, how deep can you take this? Like, you know what I mean? So that's if you feel comfortable. If not, we already talked about this, but I'll be first to tell you guys that we spoke way before we started, and they are like amazing people. Yeah, they are really amazing. Like, all four of them together. Like, I watched their bond, their vibe. It's just it's out of this world. So
yeah.
So I guess my question to the three women would first be, how comfortable are you guys living in home together? Because they have already said that they're in an in-home relationship. So how comfortable is this? Like, are you guys, I'll start with you. Like, did you have to get there? Whatever you would like to say on your comfort level. Yeah, and start with your name and then.
We like that. Okay. I'm Saabirah, and for me, I jumped here first.
Okay.
Like, as far as being in the house together, it was very early on in our marriage that it was very early on in our marriage that moved into the house that we all got together. But for me, I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable.
Okay.
I mean, because once again, like, I live in the city, and my kids are around. They go to public school, so they go outside the home to go to school, and they are exposed to people, and more things. So, excuse me. So for them to come home and to have that environment where they study Islam together. They are surrounded by, modest women. They have a great, role model, and they're learning in that environment, in home. So like they're not everything that they see. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They don't have to be subjected to that all the time. So I'm very comfortable as far as the kids' sake, and then as far as my co-wives.
Okay, so
as far as my co-wives,
let me ask you guys this. So each of you have a child. No. Okay. So let's get it. So if you have prior children before your marriage with him, okay. So how many children do you guys have?
Collectively,
like the entire home. Because it's a marriage, so the entire home.
4, 9, 13, 15, I think altogether.
Wow. Okay.
Mashallah. And y'all all in the same house.
See, because that is a lot to take on. And I just feel like as a man, if you can do that and you can be the leader for this family, I mean, you're almost creating your own community. This is their own community. They don't have to worry about it.
And I think that's exactly what Saabirah was saying, because they go outside and they have all this outside influence, but they can be in the house and, they have this community that, they're learning, and that is a beautiful thing.
Wow.
So I want to set the record straight, because I'm echoing, hold on. I want to set the record straight first for everybody that's watching. And I just noticed because of Islam, they all live together, but they are not all sleeping together. So that is something that I'm going to allow Kaashif, and I say your name wrong every time, I'm sorry. I say everybody's name wrong, but I want him to definitely speak on, because I know that there are a lot of men out there in Beyonka's Playhouse world that get excited about being Muslim or even becoming Muslim, because the first thing they say is what? Take it all 3 years. Like, I can have 3 wives, I can have 4 wives. I've even seen some people say, like, I can have as many wives as I want. So I was happy when I heard you first state, that there's a limit. There's 4 wives. So
I learned something. I thought it was only 3. I was always told they could have
it'd be different though. People be saying everything.
But it's
so that's why this was like so. This is he giving facts, not what you guys think or what somebody told you. Somebody said that they said, but this is actually from the Quran and Hadith, so where you can know that these are facts. This isn't made up. So I'm gonna let you speak on that part, but I just want to tell y'all, men, no, they not. This is like she said, a community, and in community you live in different quarters. So I'll allow you to explain that.
Thank you. The first thing I want to address is the living situation. Nowhere in our religion does it say that you can force the women to live together. That's impermissible. You cannot force women or put them in bondage or enslave them to do things against their will in that sense. So Islam says that in order for women to live in the same house, number one, and I'm not going in a particular order, they all have to agree. 2, they have to have their separate quarters. They have to be comfortable. And like she said, there is no intimacy with one in front of the other one, because Allah, God, still preserves the heart of another woman. Women are created jealous creatures, but the best of them are those who can control it based upon their purpose in life, to serve God. So that's the issue with the household thing. Now, what was the first thing you asked?
That was.
I love it. Wait a minute. So that was my question. Like, do you get your own one-on-one time?
Oh yeah. That's what I was saying. I'm sorry. So to bring a point of reference, what do you want me to refer to? Beyonka on here?
Don't do me like that. Yeah, you can. It don't matter. Kara, Beyonka, they know I'm both.
Okay, so both persons.
Stop it. Say Beyonka. Say Beyonka.
Beyonka. In the Quran, to be specific, the 4th chapter, verse 3, Allah says, I'm paraphrasing, roughly meaning it says, so take 2, 3, it says, marry the woman of your choice, 2, 3, or 4. And if you cannot do that, meaning you cannot be just, then stick with 1. This is better. So the Quran actually says, it is the only, to put on record here, it's the only.
Mic like this and say that all over again loudly, so that each and every brother watching can hear that. Kanaya, I'm sorry, I didn't call the producer out. Producer, get close. We need him to repeat what you just said so that it's heard clearly.
Okay, so what I said was, I'm sorry if you couldn't hear me, is that in the Quran, to be specific, a point of reference is that in chapter 4 of the Quran, verse 3, roughly meaning in the paraphrase is that, so marry women of your choice, 2, 3, or 4. But if you cannot deal with them justly, time and money, then only marry one. Only marry one. This is more to justice. So if anybody has a misconception that it's mandatory to marry more than one, or you have to, then this is incorrect as far as from the truth. The truth is justice, and Allah said 2, 3, or 4. And there's a reason He started with 2, 3, or 4. One of the wisdoms is that, and if you don't know, there are more women in the world than men. This is documented. You can go do your own research, but there are more women in the world than men. If all of the men decided one day to, I guess, get their mind right and get their mind right and marry, if they get their mind right and marry, not take a side chick or a girlfriend, if they marry responsibly, then there's still going to be a portion of women left over because the population of women supersedes the men, right? So what does that mean? There's going to be women left over who maybe have a child from a previous relationship. She may be destitute, not having a provider, etc. So Allah God has did what? Allowed a man who can be responsible to take this woman, not as a side chick or mistress or whatever else they got out there, these terms, but a wife. So you can take care of her because now you have a commitment to her. It's not like a side chick that you get with her one time, she might get pregnant, and you're like, I don't know what's going on because you don't owe her anything. I'm being real. We just had this conversation. A lot of women, and I'm not taking sides here, some women be mad when they have a baby father and they gotta hound this man to take care of that child, etc. And we're not gonna blame faults, but we gotta say, listen, in life, women are so precious to God that He allowed women with choices. Okay, they're the carriers of the people. They carry the child. So a man can only get as close to a woman as she allows him, and vice versa to that is either rape, and that's wrong. And then it's not your fault. So many women they be the victims of rape, and they feel so bad, and they feel like it's their fault. It's not your fault. If it was rape, that means that if you said no and he forced himself, they were wrong. On the other hand, if it's mutual, then you are accepting everything that comes with this, including those angry consequences that you will have in the future. Oh, he ain't nothing. He a dog. Maybe. And don't take this the wrong way. Maybe you should have got to know this man a little bit better, or maybe the man should have got to know the woman a little bit more better under the right confines. That's what I'm saying. So,
or maybe his acting skills were on point.
Yeah,
maybe that because they be having some real good acting skills in Baltimore.
That can be the same thing too. In our religion, it has something that safeguards a woman from that. How many times have you seen? I'll give you the bad version first. Okay, you have a woman and a man just randomly walking or driving, whatever, randomly, right? They meet each other and opposites attract, so they're attracted to each other, right? So you know how it is. A man, he run his game on you. I don't mean like negative game. I mean his word play. That's what I mean. His gift of gab or whatever. And he might have a good intention, or maybe he won't. In this case, we're going to talk about the man who doesn't have a good intention. He fakes you out. He says what he can say to be slick, and it appeals to you. So you exchange numbers with him, right? And then you talk to him on the phone. And then what does he say? Let's get to know each other a little bit better. Let's go out, okay? So y'all go out, and y'all set a time. Cliche time, I'll pick you up at 7, cliche. So I'll pick you up at 7. How many times have we heard stories on the news where two people met, they don't know each other, and they meet up, and the man could be from out of town. He has the car. She's from the city, right? Or wherever she's at. So he picks her up. He has the car. She doesn't know him from Adam and Eve, but she trusts him off that one conversation. So they get in the car, and she said, all right, we're going to the movies, right? She said, when you get up Northern Parkway, I'm using references. When you get up Northern Parkway, turn right here, right? So he keep going straight. She's like, well, I told you to turn right there. He elbows her, drugs her, knocks her out. All of this is going on while she trusted this man. He takes her, rapes her, kills her, buries her, whatever. I'm going to this extreme to show you what can happen. Now, a lot of people say, well, Muslims can't date. Well, how can you get to know each other if you can't date? Now, that was the scenario I just presented of dating. And that's how you get to know each other. You can die. In our religion, it says the fathers or the male representatives of the woman are there as guardians to chaperone, not to be nosy, to chaperone and make sure and ensure the safety of his woman folk, meaning his daughter, mother, etc. So imagine that same scenario happens. They meet each other. The man says, I'm interested in you. Who's your guardian? Who's your father? Who's your brother? And that's why the man should have good characteristics, meaning your brother, your father, because they go to him to sit with him, and they say, because a lot of women don't respect the men no more because they don't do this like in the past. I want to meet your father. It's rare that you hear a man say, I want to meet your father. A lot of men don't want to meet your father. So the one who said, I want to meet your father, this one you can most likely trust because he wants to meet your father. So once he meets your father or your brother or your uncle or somebody like that, then the father can set up a schedule where you, him, and the person who's proposing this meeting, the guy, can sit together. You can still get the norm, still find out if you're compatible while being safe. And then once you get comfortable, you can say, I'm ready to marry this person. Then there you go. You're married. The third party is gone and you're married. That's how we did it. So we don't have that problem.
So wait a minute. How soon after, so if all your fathers obviously agreed, like, oh, I like him, you know? But how soon after is it like, Dad, I want you to meet somebody? Oh, okay, I like him. Okay, go ahead, Martin. How fast?
Okay, so there's two questions in that actually.
Yeah.
How soon do you meet the father? Right away, because this ensures, and there's no forced arranged marriages in our religion. No father can force his daughter to marry a person. We have a hadith or narration that a woman was forced to marry a man, and it was reported to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Prophet ﷺ said that marriage is null and void because it was against her will. She has to consent. In our religion, a man has to propose, there has to be an acceptance. The husband, the guardian, his job is to give her away, like hand her over to him, but he can't force her, like in some ways, okay? That's how that goes. But to answer your question specifically is that if a man meets a woman or a woman meets a man, he'll say, I want to speak to your guardian or something like that, right? So when they meet, now depending on how fast or how slow they get married, that's solely upon the two individuals because they're the ones seeing that they're compatible. That statement, you hear that statement, a lot of people downsize it, love at first sight. I believe in it and we believe in it. Let me tell you why. Because God controls our heart. Allah controls our heart. He created, he controls it. He doesn't force us to do anything, but he controls our heart. So with that, he holds our hearts between his two fingers. I mean, he's the emotion changer, Allah. So what strikes out for a woman, it always be, you hear the story, well, I like this car like this, but really a woman wants to know that a man's a provider, nothing else.
Exactly.
He can do this. And a man wants to know that this woman will always respect him. Like, we don't need too much. We don't ask for, real men don't ask for too much. We don't care if you got this, or that. If you respect us and you trust us and you bear with us, that's all we want. And I'm vice versa like that. So they can get married as quick as they want.
So I would love to know how, I guess it would have to go down the line of like who you married first and how that conversation goes. Oh, okay. Oh, wife number one. I know, right? I'm like, oh, wife number one. Okay, so, well, yeah, definitely for you, I'm curious to know how that conversation. Jameelah, I don't know, I was trying to look, I was like, I know y'all move seats.
Right, they switched on us.
But so how did that conversation go between you and your husband? And of course, based on Islam, as well as just, I think for women out here, even me, just on being a woman, how that conversation went and how you accepted that, being allowing your husband to, well, not allowing, I don't know what word to use, but accepting a second wife into your home.
Well, the funny thing is, Kaashif was my wakil first. That's funny.
Oh, so guardian.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay.
And it's funny because I became Muslim. I really didn't know too much. I knew some things because I researched it before, but I didn't really know too much. Okay. So he helped me with understanding a lot of things as my wakil. When I first became Muslim, I knew that I had to accept everything. It's something that, it's in your heart. It's something I took my shahada, by myself. And, I learned a lot of things for myself. I went to a masjid, tried to, learn from them. Found out it wasn't Salafi. So he helped me with a lot of things in that aspect. Polygyny for me, it was just like, I guess you could say a no-brainer. It was something that I was okay with. It says it in the Quran. I read the Quran. I understood some of it. I did have questions, but I understood like some of it. The funny thing is with us living together, my daughter's the one that said, maybe all the wives should, live in one house. And, one of my daughters said it. And,
wow.
Around the same,
really?
Yeah, so.
So you are.
He like it was not my idea. Y'all hear that?
It was not his idea.
He like it was not my idea.
No, it was actually my oldest daughter's idea.
Wow, that's awesome. So you were married separately before you lived together. Oh, okay. So you didn't just have to
Wow.
accept everything at one time, like get married and the. Oh, okay, okay. That is
So you guys are
amazing.
married first. How long before wife number 2?
2 years.
I was married for 3 years.
Before I came.
2 years, not 3 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
You need some time.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years and then you married. So okay, let's hear from you. And this is Laylah, right?
Yes.
Yes, Laylah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Laylah, yes. How did you? I don't even know. Like I still can't.
It's so interesting. I'm like, wow.
I know. Yeah,
Well,
just tell me
I'll
your thoughts.
express my journey.
There we go. There we go. Thank you.
So I was married previously, and I always wanted to have a co-wife because I was around a lot of Muslims, and I was like, "This is so beautiful. I want this." And
Yeah.
but when I married Kaashif, I said, if I get married again, he has to have a wife. Like I want him to be like, okay, if he's not married, I want him to either be looking for a wife or be married. For me, it was I felt like it helped me out as being a wife. Like you could take some of the responsibilities some days, and I can take these responsibilities some days. If I don't feel like cooking, he's at your house. You know?
Okay, a girl.
If I have to go run and do something and my mom is not available, okay, my companion can help me. Like it was a benefit for me as being a mom. I felt like being a wife, you know, it's a lot of responsibility. So for me, I wanted to have a co-wife. When I met Jameelah, she was just so sweet, and you know, it was a nice atmosphere. He welcomed me in, she welcomed me in, her kids welcomed me in, and then my kids were just like loving her daughter. So it's just like it seemed like a law put everything right into place for us.
So, wow, that's a beautiful journey.
Yes.
Okay, wow. So to all of you ladies out there, like I hope you guys are listening because that is, and I'm not gonna ask their ages, right? Because I remember you said the maturity thing, right?
Yeah.
But I will ask this, right? Do you guys think that it's a maturity thing to have to be able to accept it?
Well, now that I understand, I don't think it is. It sounds like, you know, if you accept
Islam.
and Islam, this is what you know, is that an issue. Now
When I first took my child, I was like 20. So a lot of my family was like, you know, you can have a second wife. You know, you can get married. I'm like, okay. You know, you can't have a second husband. I said, okay. Like I accepted it from the beginning, and I was 20. So.
Oh wow.
You know,
okay. So
then
it's not.
So
about
let
maturity.
me ask you this. So once you guys are now, you know, a family and your families are all together, you're now one unity and you're happy. When is it like, okay, we need a third? How soon did that happen? Like, is it like, girl, listen, you got the dishes, I got the clothes, we doing this, but we need somebody to mop the floor. No, I was just joking, not like that. Seriously, but was it okay for both of you?
Yes, and the funny story is me and Laylah were having a competition of who to find for
Yeah.
him at the time.
Yeah.
The
So the
That's
wife,
again,
the question, okay, my question, so the wives, fine. That's not,
Not upon my request.
no, I know it's not your request. What I'm asking is that like the way to go, like the wives find, they feel like
I've
it's
never
suitable
heard
for
that.
you.
That's their choice.
Ever.
It's not
This
something
is
that has to happen.
ever. I've been around
This is awesome.
Islam. I mean, I became Muslim when I was 11 years old, and there were a lot of families say that I was around that had multiple wives, and their children grew up together. You know, but the unfortunate thing was I saw the bad side of it. You know, as far as like not being together. Like I've only been sitting in a room with you all for about an hour or so, and your presence, your vibe, the aura, everything is just amazing. Like you all, like I don't feel any tension. You know, and it's been situations, and I think that's why for the world, you know, their perspective of what they hear is just like, you know, a woman just being jealous, or, you know, and even unfortunately for some Muslims who probably grew up in the same shit I grew up in, you know, it was unfortunate that we witnessed like certain sisters throwing blows, you know, things like that. I know. So it is like truly a blessing to be able to sit around sisters who not only understand it but accept it, and actually you're not, and it's love. Like it's not like this is a mandatory thing, because I think that's a misconception as well, which is why I'm glad that the brother cleared that up, but that women have to do it, like they were forced. And you know, some women, Oh, there's no questions. Okay, I got y'all. But I think that the misconception of women feeling like they have to accept it. Like, you know, I'm gonna just talk about myself, y'all. But for me, you know, I being divorced twice and, you know, having failed relationships, for me, I've said if I marry again that, you know, I don't have a problem with marrying as a second or a third wife, because I've been that first wife and I'm not having no more babies and just a whole lot of other reasons, right? So I can say that, and then other women will say, well, that just means, you know, you don't think you can find somebody. Or, you know, she probably, you know, became a second or a third wife because she just didn't have, nobody wanted her. Clearly, that is absolutely not the case. Right. That's not even the case, I don't think, for any. I'm not gonna say for any because I can't speak for the world, but I would say that for Muslim women, that's just not the case. That, you know, it's definitely because that is what you're supposed to accept. And I'm a firm believer, you know, when in Islam, when you're around the Muslims, like you just feel so much certain ones, peace and certain ones. So you just feel really at peace though, and it's and to be, you know, and to be able to raise your children in that environment, you know, is a beautiful thing. So I think so, but we didn't get to Saabirah though about, you know, her acceptance, because you're the third, so you're the last one to come on in through those doors.
Not last, they can have up to 4. So you know.
Oh well,
right? Or is that
if y'all vote somebody else in, it's
no. But yeah. Is that closed?
No.
It's not closed.
No.
I know he can have 4, right? Mm-hmm. But this is what I want to know: if it's closed. Is it closed for y'all shopping? Because you guys are like,
well, they want
no.
The reason being is because in Islam you love for your brother and sister what you love for yourself.
Okay.
So in that sense,
you want somebody else to be happy.
Want that person to be happy. Yes.
Listen, I'm here for it.
I know.
I love you this much. I want you to be happy. I want you to come in our family. I want you to see what real love is. That's deep.
Can I say something real quick before she goes?
That really is.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was in previous relationships before coming into the family, I was like, nope.
So you actually declined.
I was good. Going on here. I'm good, bro. Going on here. But you know, alhamdulillah, he was like, listen, what's up with your Wakil? Like, what's up?
Oh,
I was like, all right, let me see what you talking about. Let me see what the sit down's about. Yeah. So we had to sit down, and when you say first, you know, love at first sight, it was like love at first conversation. I was like, I must be stupid. I'm tripping. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, like a person to guide you, but to help you in, you know, he's just having a moment with 2 other wives. So that really led. So you know, like for me, it was like, I was like, no, I'm good. Like in a previous relationship, you know, before, you know, the religion, I was like, I've been through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
Right, you done been through it all.
Okay,
you know,
so it's like, oh. And then I'm going to go into it willingly to share. Wait, you know what I mean? But once again, I had no knowledge, lack of knowledge, not understanding. It's not about him sharing a bed or him having a bunch of women. It was more to it, but I didn't have the knowledge. Right. So once I got the knowledge and I understood my religion, which bettered me as an individual, I was better for the family.
So you guys have this like amazing bond. I already see that you guys have this amazing bond with each other. So my question, as far as intimacy wise, first would be, is how. Let me just say this, because we're women, right? Mm-hmm. So even, you know, we can accept things, you know, in our heart, but we're still, women are some emotional creatures. And no matter what, feelings can get hurt and we can be quiet about it, but that little burning in our throat, that be like, you know, the butterflies in our stomach, you know, they start brewing. And if we don't say something about it, you know, I know Kiara, she's just my friend, but if I'm feeling some type of way and my throat is starting to feel funny and the butterflies are blowing, she's going to see that. So I know it's no way that any of you can get anything past anyone in this house. So if you start to see, you know, one of your sister's eyes watering or somebody feeling some type of way, do you guys comfort each other?
Yeah.
Really? Yes. Oh my goodness.
It's reminding each other.
Yeah.
The reason why this is so good is because we're all reminders to each other. And in a religion, you have to be a reminder for each other. So in a sense of if somebody's feeling a certain way, you know, maybe if I'm feeling so Saabirah will come down, sit with me, talk to me. It's times that has happened. It's times that, you know, Laylah has, you know, spoken with all of us. So we all talk to each other. And that's one of the best things about it, communication. We have a communication with each other. So, you know.
That's another reason why I wanted a co-wife, because, you know, you just want somebody to talk to and they can remind you of your religion at the same time, you know, because for me, I feel like you can have a different type of bond with another female that can relate to you. You can have with your husband. I mean, it's not that he's a bad person. He just doesn't understand.
It's your husband. It's a husband. Yeah.
Like, what are you crying about? Like, what's wrong? Like, they don't get it sometimes, and a woman can understand a little bit. You know? So I mean, but at the same time, remind you of the law and remind you of the good. So yeah.
You can even borrow mine.
Oh yeah. I'm not listening. This
No,
is
that's
about
fine.
y'all.
Just to recap on something you said earlier, because a lot of women, some women, they say, you know, I don't want to come in as the third. They mention numbers as the third or fourth, but you have to go back, because if you get stuck on this number thing, there is no number thing. The only number thing that you have is really who was first, second, third, fourth, but that's it. Nothing beyond that. It doesn't matter, because, you know, like you said, you've witnessed some bad experiences in polygyny, but that's always because either, we got to say both, either the man was not doing it correctly, or the woman wasn't participating correctly, or both wasn't doing it correctly. So what we have is this. One of Allah's names is Adil in Arabic, and it means just. So we have to be just, even against ourselves. So in Islam, the daytime, literally, the daytime is for the man, meaning to go work, or, you know, something like that. And in the daytime, he can visit whichever wife that he wants to visit in the daytime. As soon as that sun goes down, for example, if it's her night, because they get nights, from nighttime or sundown to sunrise, the fajr, that's the prayer, then that's her time. At her time, it is not permissible for me to be with any of them. And I mean this in context. They're like strange women at the time I'm being with her. And I mean this in context, meaning that it is disrespectful for me, while it was her turn, to be laid out with one of them. You understand? It's a total disrespect. I wouldn't do that. It is not permissible.
So you have it
mapped out.
Yeah, we have to. In other words, you have to have it mapped out. And the man has the right to choose the days, but they can tell you, I don't do it. I let them do it. And I let them say,
all in the house together. You don't want to go down Charlie Brown. You gotta let them do it. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So we do 4 nights apiece, back to back to back. So it's like, say it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know, back to back like that. And in the daytime, you know, I go to work. We all run businesses. We all entrepreneurs. And we all have jobs too. So we have jobs. We work for somebody, and then we work for ourselves. So we, you know, back and forth on things. So she actually has 2 businesses. We all have one. She has 2, and a job. So she's doing more than all of us.
Oh, okay.
So we all, you know, we do this together. But my point in saying that was that, and I know some people have questions. The man, if he's being just like that, then a woman coming in won't be worried about I'm full, because the only reason that my opinion is that when women use the numbers, they have a fear of a lack of time. I think a woman's like, I don't know, if I'm number 4, I might don't get no time. But if it's done correctly, you're going to get the time.
So I think this might be the only other thing, and I'm going to speak for myself, for you ladies too, but if that was the case, like you said, they have 4 days that they have to
4 nights.
4 nights. If during those 4 nights,
Just say it.
I'm talking about my wine and stuff. If I'm just like, I really need to talk to you, can you not talk to me?
No, that's not the case. So
okay.
With them, I'll speak and then I'll let them say, because they can say from there. I don't want to be like the main person, but
yeah.
So I've witnessed, because I'm in a situation where I could be with Laylah. It's random. I could be with Laylah, and then, but they're respectful. They don't contact me. They'll contact the wife I'm with out of respect, and they'll text her or call her. And
y'all got it going on. Listen, we said don't even call me. You call her. You
they already know that. They know that, and that's amongst themselves. Yeah. So I'm with Laylah. So Bill might call her like, and she'll be cordial with respect. Like, I don't mean to intrude on your time. And then they say, with your husband, even though that husband, they're respectful. They say,
I heard that just a few minutes ago. Yeah. She said, sit next to your husband. I was like,
and I thought she was saying that jokingly, like, yeah, go ahead, sit next to your husband. So is it really your, is it your dad? Can I ask that?
What?
when she says, "Go ahead and sit next to your husband," is it your day? Is today your?
No. She was
just being funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Okay.
I was about to say,
Because that would have been really.
That would have been perfect.
Right. Good.
Like that's actually like a joke, like amongst us. Like when he do something, like girl, don't beat your husband.
I love it. I love it.
Like little joke.
Oh, okay.
So the last thing I wanted to mention, because I just want to be just, because I know some people got questions, they probably burning that.
I know, y'all. I'm sorry, we're gonna get to y'all.
The last thing to get everybody to understand this concept that we have, why they're like this. Our prophet, we always revert back to what God said or the prophet said, because this is what governs our life. Peace be upon him. The prophet said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said that until you get three categories or three qualities, I'll say three qualities. If you get these three qualities, you will experience the sweetness of faith. And the first quality, and these are in order, the first quality that he said was that you absolutely love God and his messenger more than everything else. Because if you love God, meaning loving is just not saying you love him, you follow him through action, speech, and heart. So if you follow his legislation, you believe in his legislation, you act upon his legislation, you love him and his messenger, that means that whatever they legislate, in the Quran it says, submitting that while thought in that. That's Arabic. Translation is, we hear and we obey. Whatever God and his messenger say, we hear and we obey. Because if we don't do that, we succumb ourselves to listening to our own desires. And a lot of people in life, whatever they're doing wrong in any religion, but in our religion, we're speaking specifically, is because they feel like that they know how to live better than the one who made them. And our concept is that, okay, we exist. We didn't ask to be in existence, but we're here. So that means we know someone put us here. So obviously he knows better how we should live. So if he says something and I'm not comfortable with it, that means I'm not comfortable with listening to the one. Maybe I must be crazy. So that's one. It's like when you tell your son or your daughter, hey, do this, they're like, well, I want to do this. What do you mean? I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. More importantly, who really can do that? The one who created you brought you in, and he really take you out. So why not listen to him? So the first quality is that you love God and his messenger more than anything else. In Arabic is mimah siwa, more than anything else. Number two, that you only love an individual for the sake of God. Now this eradicates all personal grudges and beefs. What that means is that if I have a mutual love for her or you for the sake of God, there's nothing personal you can do to make me waver, because if it's for God sincerely, nothing can change it. That's number two. And number three, you hate to revert back to disbelief or act of disbelief that God don't like you will be like you will hate to be dragged into the hellfire. So those three qualities, if you have them, creates the sweetness of faith. And those three qualities are endearment, and no one can explain how they feel. You have to experience them yourself. Yeah, I'm done.
Wow, that was good. All right. I want to clap. Okay, thank you, because that was like extremely. So we're going extremely good. Let me go through a few questions.
Cassandra Young said, "I love polygamy. However, where can I find it that your wives can live in the same house together in agreement?"
I have it right here. Where's my phone?
I know that's right. He about to show you, girl.
She said, "Not that it's a problem. I know you're supposed to provide equally for them. I just want to read that in the Quran and Sunnah myself for myself." That's one question.
I'm gonna be looking for what you.
That's one question. Okay, go ahead. Is there a question for the wives?
Yes, a question for the wives. Did you ever think he was cheating after you married and you became Muslim and you understood the situation?
It doesn't seem like they have those problems. Now that I'm here and I've seen them, I don't think cheating is an issue.
I mean, I'll let them answer, but I definitely don't think that would be good.
I have that lady's answer when she's ready to listen to. Okay.
Okay, so that's Sister
Cassandra. We want to be just. I want them to answer the question, but what's the sister? Sister Cassandra. This book is, what's the book I just let you read?
The Righteous Wife.
The Righteous Wife is in a book by Sheikh Abdul Salam Ruhaili, right? Yeah, Sheikh Abdul Salam Ruhaili. It's an authentic book. It has references points. It says one of the answers, a question was actually that question, and the answer says the jealousy of the woman is well known, as is the jealousy of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, this jealousy did not prevent the messenger, peace be upon him, from plural marriage. He married multiple women for the benefit of the ummah, the nation. Although Aisha radiallahu anha may have been jealous, or so and so may have been jealous, although so-and-so may have been, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Oh, although so-and-so may have been jealous, they were pleased with what he had from good speech, good character, and what was easy for him from finances and justice and what he was able to be just in. Here comes the answer soon. Them being jealous did not harm him, nor did them doing what they shouldn't have done harm him, etc. All of this occurred. However, the wife cannot be compelled to live in the same home as her co-wife if the house is not suitable for them. And in a circle here, I don't know if y'all can see it, it says, that maybe you should read it, so you don't think I'm just reading this off the top of my mind.
Right.
I mean, that's more just.
Where your glasses are?
I can read it.
The one in the circle.
Make it bigger too.
So I'm reading the circle, right?
Yes.
As for if the home is spacious and each wife has her own quarters, so that this wife has an apartment and that wife has an apartment, then there's no harm in this. However, if the home is tight, then the scholars have explicitly stated that this contains harm, and the prophet said.
Right. So that's it. So that's the answer for that. And now they're gonna answer her question about did you think I was cheating on you?
Cheating or jealous. And it's not any other time I would think like, oh my goodness, I don't even when I sit in a room with them, I don't think they even think about it.
I guess you guys can just for the sake of answering that, you can answer that question.
Me personally, no, it hasn't crossed my mind of him cheating or him stepping outside of the home, because it's not his character. You know, a person's character speaks for them.
Yes.
You know, when we were in, not to speak on, before, the religion, we even died. It's like, the head's turning, the eyes is wandering, this, that, and third. But, when with our husband and a woman passes by, whether she's, a trial for him, attractive for him or not, he lowers his gaze or he'll turn his head out of respect, and also to safeguard himself.
Right.
So to be with another woman and no, it's not a factor. It doesn't cross my mind. If he was like, "Hey, I'm with sister such and such," I would be like, "Okay." Like it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a thought.
Because you're on the same page, right? Everybody is in the religion on the same page. Okay.
Yeah. And once again, like he fears his Lord. Like even if we didn't find out, even if we didn't know, that's still between him and the law. You know what I mean? That's still that would be between them two. And I know he fears it. Well, from his appearance, I don't, what's in his mind or what's going on, but I know he fears his Lord.
Right.
I mean, so that wouldn't be a factor for it.
Yeah.
Did you want to answer?
No,
But that's what I used. A lot of sisters, when they would ask advice, they would be like, "Well, how do you know he's not cheating?" And I would ask, "Well, how did you start with your husband?" Like when they had questions about their husband taking on another wife. I remember I spoke to a sister and she was like, "Well, I don't know when they met." And I'm like, "Well, how did you meet your husband?" Because maybe that's why it was bothering you. That he not did something right with you, so you expect him not to do something right with this other one. For me, it never crossed my mind because he did everything like she said.
I was about to say, is there anything that ever would even cross your mind?
No.
Like at all?
It was surprised when I started being anything like what?
Yeah, I would think that. So
let me ask you this: seeing how you guys he can have a fourth wife. If he were to seek this woman, because you said, you said it could be them who find her, or you could find her. If he were to find her, does he have to come to you and say, "Hey, I want to seek this wife," or like that? Because I can't see how you could go and seek the fourth person without
you feel like, yeah.
I might be saying it wrong,
but it would still be different because, I don't know. I can't tell y'all how it would be done, but
I know he said
he would still have
to
to do it Islamically. He would still have to speak to that sister,
Wakil
and everything. So go ahead.
Islamically, he would speak to, if he wanted to marry a sister, he would go to the person's wakil.
The guardian.
Right. The husband does not have to tell the wives. The great thing about Kaashif, because I told him, like, if he ever got married, I would want to know the other wives. I would want my children to know who he marries, so that way their family comes in, they can get to know him.
Right.
So the great thing about him is he actually tells us. There are some men, who may not tell their wives, but if you're a Muslim and you're good, if your husband's gone for 3 days, oh, he got another wife. So
wow. So, but But he can technically seek a fourth wife and not tell any of you.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Okay. But you said we know you wouldn't do that because of the respect.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah. I guess this one is.
Let me say it's directly. I'm sorry, it's directly about that.
Okay.
So let's do a rewind. Let's go all the way back in the days of old, for example,
Gotcha.
which is still relevant today as follows. So during the time of Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Muhammad, Noah, all of them, whoever followed God's guidance and they're on it, and the women are on it, like they said, they don't have a second thought in their mind. If you have a particular type of man or a particular type of woman, and they do something out of character, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is not bad. It's good because you know this person. The prophet's wife, Aisha, radiallahu anha, she was slandered about something. And when Allah addressed it, he said the first thing that people should have done, was look towards her character. So here it is. If you have a man, he's always around you. You know, you can ask them, like, if I ain't working, I'm home. I don't even see my friend. You know, I'm from Baltimore, but I live in Wilmington. I come down here like randomly, you know, to get my children. I might bump into my companions, but I'm always there with them. Always, they can say that. So if something happens where they wouldn't see me for like a couple of nights, I'm not. This is not my character. I wouldn't do it. But if I did it, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about the people in the past.
Right.
The people in the past, the companions of the prophet, if they would have, peace be upon them, if they would have did this, right, their wife would have been concerned, like, is he safe? They would never thought he's out there doing it. They were like, is he safe? But in the daytime, remember, because the night is for the women. So in the daytime, when he comes, they see him, they're like, oh, he's safe. And when they see him, he's acting the same, and then he leaves again, automatically, this is not his character, so it must be he has another wife. And maybe he's not telling me because he loves me and preserves my heart. Because maybe I'm an outrageous, jealous woman, so he's preserving, he loves me that much not to tell me. And I could be cool with that. It's almost like the woman who's a side chick, like, just don't tell me about it and I'm cool, which is foolish because that's not a real commitment. But in this one, it will be a commitment. She'll be married to that one and to this one. But the one who's married, maybe she's not against polygyny, but she's dealing with her baggage from the past while still striving to get better. So she's like, it's better that you don't tell me, but I'm not against it.
Right.
And maybe one day I'll be all the way like that.
But okay, so this is my last question. I promise you, so dealing with, like you said, they all get their own times, they get their own days, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you all have the in-home, you have your days set, but you go and seek another wife out of respect for these three young ladies. You don't want to inform them. Does she get her days, but you don't inform them? Like you just go mix up
yeah, that's
days?
what you mean, yeah.
So like you said they get scheduled time, they
like
get days.
nights,
Yeah. So if these women are all in home and they all agree, you all have an understanding, if you were to seek, and let's just say you said like you preserve their feelings. If I
said some guys do that. I tell them.
Oh yeah, that's right. So you have a different bond. Okay, got you. So that wouldn't even apply to you guys. Got you.
But immediately,
okay.
Oh no, go ahead.
I'll still answer it because I know the answer to that. Because let's just say I was to do that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to be considered around that time. Because that time is that time. You can't. The prophet said, "Peace be upon him." On the day of judgment, you know, there's a bridge across the hellfire. And in our religion, you have to be just. So the man who indulges in plural marriage, and he's not just on the day of judgment when he walks across that bridge or begins to walk across this bridge. And we believe that this bridge is as thin as a hair and sharp as a blade. So what preserves you on this bridge is your good deeds accepted by God. So if you're walking across this bridge and you are unjust, Allah will make half of your body, or excuse me, not half, one side of your body heavier than the other side. So when you walk across this thing, you tilt, you're gonna be heavy, you're gonna fall in there for being unjust. So our forefront mind has to be, I have to do this with justice. So if they preserve nights, if I was to not tell them, I would seek a wife in the daytime. I'm not gonna do it at night, you know, that's the time. I mean, that's common sense anyway. I would hope so for some people. I'm not just gonna be out there at night. All right, boom, boom, boom. And if I would talk to him, I'd say, hey, there's a sister, such and such, such and such, so and so, so and so, but she's on time with this person. They'll say, okay, cool. Talk to the man, put him on the phone. All right, bam. And then sometimes, even when I come down here to drop my children, if I'm with my companions down here, my main homeboys, you know, Muslim guy.
Right, gotcha.
I don't want to be too ghetto on here. But, if I fear that I'm going to be late returning, because I'm not the man that comes in the house at wee hours of the night. That's not who I am. Gotcha. But if I know I'm at the movies with them and I'm coming home late, I call y'all? Mm-hmm. I text them, I call and say, hey, estimated time is this time. And the justice is that because it's traffic, whatever, tolls, whatever, if I do get in a little late, push too much in that time, I'm going to give them an extra night because they didn't really get a time to be with me.
Aww. Okay, we got a lot of questions.
Yes, let's get to these questions.
Let's get to a couple more questions, producer.
Can you ask them that they have some questions maybe for a specific person? They might say their name.
Yeah, if you have a question for a specific person, please feel free to say their name. And if you don't know their name, either way. Okay.
And the numbers are strictly according to when they married. It's nobody comes for anybody. He stated that. I love that.
I know.
Jermaine Ghost said, cooking and cleaning is not an obligation to a Muslim wife love. But I think what he's trying to say is cooking and cleaning. You guys feel like cooking and cleaning is an obligation to have love, like to be loved?
It's to be clean, but
yes, I don't get that one. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all answer.
I like to eat, so I'm going to cook, and I'm like a dirty house. I'm going to clean, and we have children, so the kids get chores. We have our certain areas that we have a real tight schedule.
Well, what did he say? We might be taking out of
And I may be. Is that earlier on that he made that comment?
No, when I made the joke about when do you come in, because she said, you know, she was splitting the obligation.
That's why I think that question.
That was a joke.
We were talking for a long time.
Yeah. Sorry, and we're coming in late with the answers to your questions, but that was an earlier on question, so I know that had to be in the beginning when you guys were you made the statement in reference to, you know, having a second wife, you know, sharing those obligations, and then she joked. I think if your wife should want to cook or clean.
No, he might have been saying that to me.
But also he said, the prophet cooked, cleaned, mended his own clothes, and also helped his wives with their chores. So
I'm sure you cook, right? Yeah, I was gonna say let us just.
So to address what he said, he's absolutely right. The Prophet ﷺ, and when I say this word, some people don't know it. When we say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it means in translation, closest to the meaning, may God peace, mercy, and blessings be upon him. We said it for all the prophets. He's right. The Prophet, peace be upon him, he did mend his own clothes to show that a woman is not a slave. You know, when a woman does these things, it's a charity for her husband. She's dutiful to her husband because Allah has told her to be dutiful and you know, respect her husband like this. But he's also pointing out the point that the Prophet ﷺ was a man who also helped out in the house.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah.
Oh.
He also had a question.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He also had a question. He said, my question as a Christian man is, why does a Muslim wife have to be covered up in that type of clothing?
Oh, great. Great. That's a great. So first, I love to answer this question. And I'm going to answer it with an analogy, okay? The analogy is this. A lady actually asked me this at Morgan when I was teaching there. She said, why do they have to, well, she was a little more hostile than him, right? So I asked her simple, I said, do you like Jolly Rancher candy? She said, what they got to do with anything? I said, well, do you like the candy? And she said, yes. So I said, imagine we're on the street and I have two Jolly Rancher candies in my hand. One is wrapped in the plastic, you know, the candy wrap, and one is unwrapped. So I go to give them to you, right? And I make a mistake and I drop them on the ground. Which one are you going to pick up and eat? And she said, the one is covered. Of course. I said, why not the one uncovered? She said, because that piece of candy is exposed to filth. Yeah. I said, well, that's why they covered it like that.
Wow. Okay, brother, you really be coming with it.
But I have further. That's just a wisdom and analogy. The number one reason that they do it is because God said so. And since he's a Christian brother, in all due respect, even when you go into church, we know that's not the real Mary that's on the wall. But when you look at that Mary on the wall, is she dressed like, I'm not trying to be funny, like Beyonce, or is she dressed like that? When you look at that picture, she's dressed like that. When you look at Jesus, is he dressed like with skinny jeans on? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm really painting the picture of what's common today. Right. Men wearing these skinny jeans, rompers and all that. I think it's whatever. But they wearing that. Yeah. But, or when you look at that picture, is he dressed like this? It's modesty. But it's not modesty according to what we feel it is. It's what Allah said it is in the Quran. And not just the Quran. In the Bible, it says, in your scripture, it says that if a woman prays with her head uncovered to shave her hair off. It goes to that extreme in the Bible. So it just shows that this is nothing new. But I don't like when, I'm not addressing him, there's a double standard when a nun who's dressed the same way walks down the street, people don't say, oh, she's oppressed or she's a terrorist. When they see this, they look like nuns. Look at them. It's similar, right? The
And
clothing.
it's the same.
And they say, oh, she's
choice,
oppressed,
right?
or like, yeah. But when a woman comes out, if I come to your house, you're not gonna leave your debit card, your PIN numbers, and all that out, right, for me to see.
Right.
The women are more precious than that, and that's your debit card and your PIN number, your social security card. These are all things that are endearing to you. But our women are more endearing. They have souls. They're people. So when they go out, they cover their beauty as not to be seen by the men. That's it. That's the answer.
So I want you guys to be able to answer, and it doesn't matter whoever is comfortable with answering this. Just to make it clear to everyone out there, that with what he just said, you know, also that it is a choice that you all make that to cover fully, because you know the Muslim woman can wear hijab and wear kimar, wear what is it called, the regular word, you guys? I'm trying to give them an English word. But, you know, they can wear the full covering without covering the face, you know, covering your face, the niqab, yeah, without wearing the niqab, or, you know, the gloves. However, it's still a choice, you know, that you make. Like, this is not your husband telling you, you have to dress like this. You know, if you don't dress like this, you're not going to be married. That's not the case, right? And I want you guys to just make that clear to everyone.
Okay. It's not a choice, because Allah said so. And once again, with you pleasing your Lord, it's not no second guess. It's not no, once again, you follow Allah, you follow your desires. Allah said cover. My face is a part of my beauty. I'm going to cover it. My body is my beauty. I'm going to cover it. Allah said so. So me uncovering it is me following my desires and not following my Lord, which is going to cause me punishment on that day of judgment. So me covering, alhamdulillah, I'm going to cover. So it's not a choice. It's not a choice.
Okay. For me, I like covering with the niqab, because even when I covered fully and my face was out, or I did, like, it was a lot of people, so I like to not be bothered. Like, so to wear the niqab for me is great, because men come with you, whether if your face is uncovered, if they see your face, they're attracted to your face, they'll still approach you. But because they can't even see your face, they can't approach you except for in the correct manner. So, you know, I like it.
The last time you saw me, I go, hey, baby, looking like this.
Yeah, I've actually seen men talk to, you know, be all rude. And you know how men are out the street with women that are not covered. They will not come back. Hi, sister. Like, they even lower their head and say, hi, sister, move out the way and stuff like that. So,
Can I say one thing? I just thought of an example, right? Let's say you have a prostitute, right? A reformed prostitute. You have a woman who used to sell her body, you know, down the block, down Baltimore Street, right? I'm using that as a point of reference because whoever's watching, maybe from Baltimore, they can't understand my reference. So you have this woman who her whole life, she was a prostitute. Maybe intentional or unintentional, maybe she was forced or not. But when you're a prostitute, you build up a certain type of reputation, right? Guys look at you as a certain type of woman. They got all different types of names. Dot, slut, hoe, etc. It can go on and go on, right? So when they see this woman, even if she chooses to change her life on, say she become a born-again Christian today, or born-again whatever. I'm not being facetious. I mean, she chooses to be someone better than what she was. So when she walks down this street in the future, those guys who know her from that, they're always going to attribute to her what they know her from, except one woman, these Muslim women. I'm not saying because I'm a Muslim, I'm going to prove it. So right now, these two here, they never saw them without the niqab, right? You don't know what their faces look like, do you? So imagine, you don't know, that could be one of your homegirls from the past who used to shake that butt on the stage. It could be. I know it's not, but it could be.
Right.
But because they're covered, you don't know. So what does that preserve? Their honor and their dignity, even if they used to be like that. So if a woman comes from that background and she walks down the street just like this, she could be the ex-hoe or superhead, Karen Stephan. She could be that, right? And yeah, I'm being real though. She could be that.
Because we ain't seen Karen in a while, so she could be in the cab. She could be in the cab. You never know. Okay, what other questions?
Yeah, what's that?
Is it? Lovely Scott said, so the wives can't stay in a room together. Is it like
what can you gotta be specific?
Like what do you mean?
If Lovely, what's his name?
Lovely Scott.
I don't know if it's a man or woman, I'm sorry. Lovely Scott said, can they be in the same room together? If you just mean just chill and relax, yes. If you mean, can we all sleep in the same bed and be intimate? No. That's all I can answer that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's just quick.
Hasnan.
Whose name?
Rodriguez.
Assalamualaikum.
We know her.
That's a statement. Boaz Braze. Sorry.
Don't say people's names. Just read the comments.
Someone
because
said-
somebody can be mad.
Do the wives share the ring, clothes, etc.?
The what?
The
Ring, clothes, etc. No, I think that's good. That's a good question because I'm gonna just break that down to how they probably mean. So they're asking, do the wives share the ring, which is like, do they all have the same finger? But anyway, I mean, clearly, you know, when you get married in Islam, when you get married, there's a diary.
They like we don't.
And they don't even have rings. Okay, so there's a diary. There's not a mandatory ring. You know, like in Christianity, you guys get rings. You know, and you exchange the rings. But in Islam, the husband has to give a diary. So they don't share that diary because clearly, you know, you could go ahead and explain that to them about it.
So just to be brief, I know there's a lot of questions. Like she's saying, not just in Islam, supposedly it's Christianity too. Some of them are just not following. It's in the Bible. A dowry is in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They're supposed to get a dowry, a mahar, a dowry. A dowry is a gift that the woman determines, not the man. I have to say this so many times. The man said, "Well, let me get this," and she's like, "All right," but he can suggest something, but it's up to her to make the final choice. But the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said that the best of the women are those who make it affordable for them, but they have the choice. It's still their choice. But it's not so much that they have to have a ring. They can have a ring if they ask for a ring. If they want that, they can have that. They can ask for anything they want. They ask for 5 houses. They might be single at that, but they can ask for it. You know, they can ask for 5 houses. They can ask for 1,000. But I'm not trying to downsize that. The thing is that Allah made women beautiful. He made them his gym. And they have this right that they can ask for anything. And you cannot marry them until you at least agree on the dowry. Can't touch them until you agree on this dowry. The dowry can either be agreed as upfront, or there can be a specified time from the woman. Again, from the woman, she has to make this up. So I want my dowry in a week. You cool with that? He say no, but we ain't married. Like that. That's her choice.
And as far as sharing clothes, I mean, well, gosh, I can't answer that for y'all. I was about to say like, no, but I don't know what y'all. You can answer that. You guys can answer.
Y'all got different clothes?
I mean, I know. I think that
like share like it's.
I mean, I would think
Like
that
in your sister's closet. Like
I could go in my sister's closet. Like I feel like your bond is so. I would think that. Okay, so yeah, but that's a given. Me and my homegirl going definitely share clothes. So if you guys have sisters, you definitely want to share clothes. Okay, what's another question?
Okay. Jihad.
I just
Don't
told
worry
you.
Okay. Are they Salafi Muslim? Salafi Muslim.
Yes. Should I explain that?
Yeah, I think maybe you should because I think a lot of America is familiar with Sunni Muslims.
Okay. For
What's
those,
the difference between the two?
There's no difference. I'm about to tell you. Every Salafi is a Sunni, but every Sunni is not a Salafi. I'll explain this. The word Sunni comes from the word Sunnah, which means the example. The examples, rather verbal action by the Prophet Muhammad. It's not just attribute term. We can say the Sunnah of Jesus, the Sunnah of Beyonka. She has a Sunnah. Sunnah just means her way. Sunnah means way. So when we refer to the Sunnah of the Prophet, we mean following his example without adding anything to it, not something new. So Salafi in Arabic, you have, I don't want to get too deep. It's like Salafi means you ascribe yourself to something. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the first 3 generations of Muslims, the first 3 generations, he said, the best generation is Qarni, my generation, the next generation, and the next generation. The first 3 generations of Muslims are the best because, you know, he said that because they're there with the messenger, they have the revelation. He said, after that will come a people of doubt, meaning people are going to start doing what they want to do. Salafi is a term that ascribes yourself to the direct character and actions of that first 3 generations of Muslims. So every Salafi is a Sunni. Why I said that every Sunni is not a Salafi? Because somebody can easily say, I follow the Prophet and just do whatever they want and add something to whatever they want. But a Salafi, I'm not saying they're perfect either. A Salafi Muslim is a human. Salafi is a title that means you're ascribing yourself to the first 3 generations. And those who do that, they strive to be like them. Are some people saying they Salafi really following that? No. They're still humans. You have to know that. No. So what it means is that you just separate the terms and you say Salafi. Every Salafi is a Sunni. Every Sunni is not a Salafi if you understand in context what I said. But yes, the answer is yes, they are.
Okay. Is that another question?
But someone said, what should I say to my wife who denies me a co-wife?
Is that a
It's a man.
Oh, duh, right? Okay. You go. Yeah.
I say the women. They like. Okay,
I was about to say. Yeah.
How about we answer both? I'll answer it from. It's not a man's point of view because the answer is going to be the same, but you can just hear it from a woman too. Whatever. Remember, I said this. It's not about polygyny again. A lot of women and a lot of men cannot be hung up on their desires. We talked about this. Allah said, enter into Islam wholeheartedly. You have to come in this religion accepting everything. You know, everything. And if for us men, let me go to the men. Men are not allowed to cut their beards. Did y'all know that? Men are not allowed to cut their beards. The Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, do not imitate women. The man who imitates a woman is cursed, and the woman who imitates a man is cursed. So we're not to cut our beard, not even for employment. No. Because this is our style, that the sunnah, the way of the prophets that we follow. We imitate the best of men, and the best of men are the prophets. We imitate them in physicality and in the clothing, okay, and character too. So we don't do that. So my advice to him: don't be harsh with her. Maybe she don't know, lack of knowledge. Maybe he should sit with her and say, hey, maybe she don't understand the Quran. Sit with her, show her a lecture, read with her. Maybe she just saying this because, like you say, she saw some bad experiences. Maybe she don't know. Maybe she's really not against it, but she's against it because what she's experiencing. But in any wise, the statement itself is a bad statement. We're not going to say she's bad. We don't know what she's been through, but the statement is bad. And he should be patient with her and saying to her what's right. Now, after that, if she still pushes forward, then I have to leave the decision on him. I can't tell him what to do in this marriage. But that's not the correct statement.
Right.
There you go.
In the same sense of what he was saying, it's the man's right.
Right.
So in Islam, you have to come and accept everything. So who are you to sit there and tell Allah that he's wrong and telling your husband that he shouldn't have another wife? So in that sense, it's fair law. That's it. Fair law. Have change yourself.
So I think the maybe even for me, one of the things that I think of women who don't really understand, would have to. I guess, y'all, I'm so tongue-tied tonight. Usually I'm just blabbering out, right? But for me, and I think for other women, it's to break the breaking down that barrier of the emotional side. Because for me, I spoke about this on a prior show. I accepted it after denying. No, I'm not going to accept it. Then finally, when I saw that my husband truly loved this woman, I accepted, the fact that he loved this woman and he wanted to, marry this woman and he wanted to make right, and how could I say no to him wanting to make right something, that he should, So I accepted it, but as soon as I accepted it, the pain was so deep for me that I tried to kill myself. So I ended up like literally in a coma in the hospital. That pain was that deep for me. And what I mean now today, of course, alhamdulillah, Allah still has me here. But I couldn't get past that. So now I can say at my time of being divorced twice and all these ex-husbands and stuff, I'm like, okay, I can accept it now, but I can say that because I'm not in love with anyone and I'm not looking to marry someone because I want to be in love with someone. I'm looking to marry someone because I would love to complete my deen. I would love to have a husband to bring me closer to Islam. I would love that, so I can say that today, but that woman I was 14 years ago was an emotional woman and all I could see was my husband loves someone else. So I think for women out there, that's probably the barrier that they can't break down. Go ahead. Definitely. Go ahead.
Like I said, for me, it was like, me going through, whatever I went through in the past, it was like coming into, polygyny. It's like, I'm not going through it again. Because at that point, those women were competition. Because now I'm like, oh, you going over there? Well, what she do that I don't? Why you going over there? I don't get it. What's going on? She's competition. So now I'm cooking your favorite meals. You got your favorite sneaks. You got this A, B, C, D. You know, I'm going above and beyond to compete with this woman or whoever or whatever else you're doing in the streets. You know what I mean? But then it's like, here, it's not competition. We're companions. You know what I mean? Removing him out of the situation, we're still sisters in Islam. You know what I mean? So if he, you know, by Allah's permission, was to leave, Allah took his soul, whatever the case may be, we're still sisters in Islam, not just co-wives. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, that's my homegirl. Like when it's his night with her, what movie you watching? I'm not watching that black and white. You know what I mean? Like we
Oh wow.
like we chilling. Like, wow. Okay, Laylah, you watching the cooking show? I'm ready, hungry. I'm gonna go get my snacks. Yeah. So it's like, you know, we're sisters. It's not, oh, I gotta compete with her. But if there is competition, it's competition for Allah. Like it's competition for good. You know what I mean? It's a difference. You know what I mean? You have to change your mindset because like that was the hard part for me. That was me. Yeah. When he was like, I feel me not like that. And I'm like, all right.
We'll see, right? And look, come to the
let me get
she the one. So listen, by this time, y'all know who the one is. She like, okay, all right.
It's what she was saying also. It's growth. Like in this religion, a lot of people, it's hard for them to understand the Quran, understand the Sunnah, understand the things that come with it. But in the same sense, you have to have growth. You have to have you have to want that faith. You have to want to please Allah, and that's the whole point. Like you're pleasing your Lord. You're not trying to please him. You're not trying to please her. You're pleasing Allah. So, you know, in essence, you're not going to sit there and you know, down your sisters just to, you know, make yourself feel good. You know, so.
What you were saying earlier about you want to like almost the emotions that you had connected to this person. I feel like when I hear other women talk about it, I'm like, that's Allah telling you that you're loving somebody more than you love him. And so that whenever you love, like you can think of the story of Abraham, like you can't love somebody more than you love Allah. He might be tested. He was tested with almost killing his son. He loved his son. So I don't know if he loves him more than God, but you got to think about on your level, I'm not going to put anybody in front of God. And if I do, Allah is going to be like, oh, you think this person is important to you? And they want to touch you with their person. Because your love should be for, like you said, for Allah.
It's amazing that you say that because for those who may have watched the show that I had and I talked about that on, that was my exact response to that. You know, that particular husband, I know it's a few, that particular husband, I used to say things that I feel like Allah tested me because I said those things. Like I would make statements like, oh, he is my heir, you know, and I would make statements like somebody would say, you know, oh, Dad, you always jump when he comes around. Yes, because I only move for him. I would say things like that. Like, I mean, and so in one instant, when I woke up, I'm telling you, because you know, well, you don't know, but hopefully you don't know. But unfortunately, when you wake up from a situation like that and you're faced with all of these people asking you why, and you know, you're faced with all these questions, the only thing I could say to myself was, never love anyone more than you love Allah. Like that was what Allah put in my mind. You know, unfortunately, I committed that act that I committed over and over again, right, until I woke up. So that, I tell you all the time, like that part, I can say is true. Like I literally, and I was like, first I was hurt during the process of me being out. Like, wow, like why would Allah have me continuing to commit this act? But when I woke up, that was embedded in my mind. You loved him too much. You loved him too much. He's merely a man. You loved him too much, and you need to let go. And it's I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but my love for him never ever was the same. So I was married to him for 7 years after that, but I was a different person because of it. So because my love for him was different, the marriage wasn't the same because I was afraid to even be like, oh, well, that's my baby. I was just afraid, you know, of loving him too much because I didn't almost lose him. I almost lost myself. So, and I felt like Allah was giving me that sign, like, you know, listen, you want to be on this earth, you need to fall in love with me. But so I definitely agree, and I guess that's why I'm in the place I'm in again now, where I can see it through different eyes. But I know that for a lot of women out there who have all these questions and they're like, oh, I could never with my husband, it's because you feel like your husband is yours when he's not yours. You know, he's a person, a human being, and he's a servant of Allah. He's not yours, you know. So okay, you got questions, because I see my producer looking at me like, if you don't stop talking.
Okay. What do you do about a husband that just won't take a co-wife?
That just won't take a co-wife. Wow. This is weird.
We always have this question.
Really?
Yes.
We do a whole lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, I
was
think
their
a
wife.
husband would say no.
I was their wife. Like I said, my previous marriage, I'm like, can you please take on another wife? And he was just like, no. So for you, I would tell you to be patient, make offer prayer at night. You know, Allah answers the prayers at night. You know, so stand at night and pray that Allah guide your husband. You know, whatever his hang up is, that Allah makes it easier for him to accept what you're wanting. And if maybe that you accept what your husband is wanting, that he just wants you. Maybe you should pray that Allah makes it easier for you to accept what your husband wants. So I mean, make do. I pray.
What would be a reason that, other than, I mean, I guess like not financially being able to,
Some men,
you know,
but
but
spoke early and said, if this is not for you, then only submit yourself to one.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah,
spoke that, so
okay,
maybe
that's
this
right,
man knows that
because
he's
you
not
can't judge.
capable of being.
And so maybe you might want to answer that question since you know more men. You know.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, but I understand that. Yeah, because if they can't be just, then I guess he would know I can't be just to.
Some guys, it's not about the money. Some guys don't want another headache. Some guys don't, being real, they're not a headache for me. Some guys don't want another headache. Some guys might go, like, sometimes guys can be similar to women, but a different avenue. Like, a lot of women, they will pause happiness because they've been through drama. They'll pause it, they'll overlook happiness and really overlook it. Like, you know, on The Pursuit of Happiness, there was a little joke when what's his name? Will Smith's son said there was a man in the water drowning and the boat came up. And he said, the man was like, come on. He's like, no, I'm gonna wait till God help me. And then he's like, come on. He's like, no, I'm waiting to God help me. So he died, and then he met God. He's like, God, why didn't you help me? Like, I sent you 3 big boats, you dummy. You know. But the point is, some women will go through that. A man can also go through some stuff, but he'll safeguard himself without the judgment of saying this particular woman is going to be like that. He'll say, like, some men he'll be like, well, I've been through this. Let me get myself together first. But while not judging that woman, some women will be like, I need to get myself together, or go through that and judge the guy. Not saying all women do that. Some women will, they've been through some pain, like abusive, physical, verbal, whatever. And then some guy might come along, and you even saw it in some movies and stuff, but you see it, and then they'll just pass up on it. While there can be that blessing right there, you know?
Yeah.
But that could be one of the reasons that a man don't do it, you know. But the main reason, maybe he can't be just.
So have a little faith and be patient.
Yes.
We have a question. Well, since we have the mic, but we have a question for Jameelah too. So. Jameelah. I was trying to find it. How big is the home, and does it suit you comfortably?
When we first got the house, we even said it was pretty big, so it's like really huge. When you first look outside, it doesn't even look that big, but once you get in there, it's a big house, so it's really comfortable for everybody. Everyone has their own.
Wow.
Everyone has their own quarters.
You said 4 levels?
Yeah, it's 4 levels. Like the basement, like an efficiency, so. It's a really nice house.
Wow.
May Allah protect us from the evil eye. Can I say
yes.
it's mandatory. What I just said, in case nobody knows, it's mandatory to us Muslims, and you all might want to take the hint that when anybody, let's speak on that particular person, when anybody is amazed with something that you have, automatically you should say, the person who's amazed with it should say, in Arabic is Allahumma barik alayhi. That means may God place blessings upon it. If you don't know the Arabic, just say may God place blessings upon it. Because there's been times where someone can be excited. You have a new baby, and you say, "Oh, I like." A woman can say, "Oh, that baby's so cute," but she could be envying that because she don't have it. And then Next thing you know, your baby got zits. We're not talking about this person got special powers. We're talking about God created evil and good. He created something. He created something and also gave you an avenue to protect yourself from it. So this is Allah's decree. This is His decree. So when you see something that you're amazed of, even if you think that you're not jealous of it, say it's not. Don't cost too much to say, may God place blessings upon that. I'm not speaking to a specific individual. I'm just saying.
In general,
just a reminder.
Someone said, so I'm Christian. I can have more than one wife.
Is
That's a man.
that a man?
Yes,
Yes.
My question is,
But we don't want to jump on him. I don't want to jump on him because he asked the question. I'm just being.
I'm glad you.
He said, as a Christian, can you have more than one wife? Yes. And the proof is in the Bible. Here's the proof.
Yes.
Abraham had 2 wives, Sarah and Hagar. Yes. David had 2. Solomon had many.
Yes.
But someone want to come today and say, well, that's the olden days. All you have to do is tell them, prove it. Prove that we can't have it. I'm about to prove that you can. You tell other person, prove that you can't. But here's the proof that you can. Chapter is in the Bible for the Christian, man. Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Jesus says, think not that I've come to destroy or change the law, but I've come to fulfill, not destroy. And nothing will pass from the law, meaning the Torah that Moses came with, until heaven and earth shall pass. That's judgment day. And then he went on further to say, and whoever does changes it will be considered the least in the kingdom of God. So that's the answer. That's proof that you can. And no one can say, well, that's the olden days. Because if you ask a person right now, they say, people always say, well, that's the New Testament. But you ask somebody, right? I'm just going to deal with this thing. If you ask a Christian, Muslim, or Jewish person, is homosexuality, I'm just speaking on this, is homosexuality allowed in the religion? Forget the views of people. We're just talking in the religions. Are they allowed in the religion? All 3 of them are going to say no. But that's from in the Christian faith, that's from the Old Testament, right? But some people, like we said earlier, they pick and choose what they want. So some of them are like, yeah, that's wrong. It is wrong. But according to the book, it's wrong. But then at that moment, when you're saying it's wrong, you're not saying, well, that's from the Old Testament. But when you bring up the subject of bacon, when you say, hey, you eat that bacon, I can't be no Muslim because I can't get on my bacon. The Bible says don't eat pork in Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14. It says don't eat swine, right? But it says it's in the book. But they're going to say, well, that's the Old Testament. But a few minutes ago, I asked you about homosexuality, and you said that's wrong. And that's also in the Old Testament. So now you're picking and choosing. But to answer him, yes, you can. Because God chose the best of men. He's not going to choose someone to be a representative of him if they're doing the wrong thing. He picked Abraham, one of the best men ever. He picked Noah. And just while I'm on the topic, the Muslims don't accept every story in the Bible. While people don't know, Allah is not a different God than the Christians. Allah is His personal name. Allah is the God of Moses, Jesus, etc. Our difference is we pray to Him directly and we don't go to Jesus. I know this got off topic a little bit, but it was on topic because it was questions.
People don't
but
understand.
The Muslims, we don't disrespect the Bible, and they say, well, why do you use the Bible? We use the Bible sometimes as a reference to show you what the Quran says, that this is a book. The Quran, a confirmation of the scriptures that came before it. While the Quran is set there to show you also what came inside of the scriptures after these prophets left. So the original word was always worship God alone and follow these prophets, not to extol these men to gods and so on.
Okay.
Someone said, all the people want to know is the brother the sole paying the bills, or do they all contribute?
I'll answer that. All of us contribute. And this is not something that I've made mandatory. I have a job. I own a business, like I said. They also own their own business. Oh, I do. I'm sorry about the echo.
No, you're good. You're good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I own a business and I have a job. They also own businesses. She owns 2. Saabirah owns 2 businesses and have a job. If today they wanted to stop, they have this right. Any woman in this religion can say, I don't want to work, and they have that right. A man can say, no, you better work. No, they have that right. In our house, these women, they're the type of women, and I'll give them the mic next. They say, we're going to help. We want to contribute. We want to do this. They say, we live in this day and age. While not saying that it's not my job, they say, we're going to help. That's the type of women they are. We're going to help you. We're going to support you, and that's how our family is. So the question is, Do we all contribute? Yes. Do they have to? No.
I'm glad that question came about because someone asked me to ask that question on the show, to make it clear, like, oh, okay, well, is he just allowing the women to take care of him, or
I'm looking at him. That's not in his character.
Exactly that, right. So I'll definitely let Sister Jameelah answer.
In the same sense, the reason why I can speak for me as a parent is the reason why I do is because you get blessings from Allah. Everything that you give, everything that you do is a charity. Mm-hmm. So you're getting blessings for even feeding your family. Like, say it's my night to cook. I'm cooking for everybody. I do dishes. It's a blessing. It's a charity. You're getting that deed on you as a good deed. So you're doing everything for the face of Allah. Means you're doing everything for the pleasure of your Lord. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why we say no, we got it. No, we're going to do that. It's doing that. Just to get the good deeds that you need.
So let me ask you guys this. If one of you decides, or say, I want to give up my business, I just want to stay home and I want to solely commit to this family, does everyone then support her and you all accept and embrace her decision?
That's her right. She can do that without asking anybody.
Right.
Yeah. That's her right. It's any of their right. Like I just said, in Islam, Allah says in the Quran that in chapter 4, I think it's chapter 4, verse 34, 36, it says that men are a status above women because they provide for them and spend from their means. So that alone says that a woman, she doesn't have to ask, can she stop working? She can do it and nobody can say nothing about it. In our religion, the man's money is her money and her money is her money. Mm-hmm. You've probably heard that before, but it's honest. The man goes out and work and the provision is for them. And their money, the man can't usurp it or like take it and it's like, no, I want your whole check, you're gonna give it to me. Or I want your half of your check, you're gonna give it to me. Or a quarter, I'm gonna give it to nothing. You can't do that. So that's the parameter for this religion says that.
That should make a lot of people want to accept. I mean, because coming from a sister right here who takes care of 9 children and pays all the bills by myself, I wish I would have a whole community to do it together. Oh my God, how much more you could definitely.
Say it take a village to raise a child.
Y'all know Rebuilding the Village is coming out soon. Put that plug in there. But yeah, it definitely does. So like you guys have your own village. So I'm curious to know, because I heard you say that everybody pretty much has their own business, right? So do you guys work together to with your businesses, even though it's your own business? Is this like a thing where you guys are working together? Oh, okay, good. So it's not like, okay, you off on your own, doing your own thing. You're actually working together as a family.
We all have separate franchises. When we say together, I mean, we just all have separate franchises. It's like this. Let me give an example. Laylah has her own franchise at McDonald's. I'm just giving you an example.
Of course.
She owns a McDonald's. She owns a McDonald's, not we own the same McDonald's. Okay. She owns her own McDonald's. This is an example for those listening. She owns her own McDonald's. She owns her own McDonald's. I own my own McDonald's. Then she has a Popeyes. I'm just giving you an example.
Okay.
So we work together as far as business ideas and things like that. We have the same business mentor.
Okay.
She has quite a few of them. So, but we work together in that sense, but we have our own individual businesses.
Okay.
So if we were to split up, may God protect us from that, everybody would still have their own business.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so you all are pretty much financially secure on your own, and you're not really depending
with God's
on,
help.
You know, of course, with Allah's help, you're not depending on each other, but it is a blessing to have each other. And of course, he's already set the record straight in his position. Okay, any other questions?
Someone said, is it wrong for me to take, as a Christian, is it wrong for me to take my Shahada, and do I take it by myself?
That's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. It's not. Wow. What's his name? You can say his name.
Taurus.
Do I get the blessings from that because it's on Beyonka's Playhouse? I just want to know. I want you to get blessings too, but I just need a couple of them to dwindle over here.
So the brother, I tell him that if he has your information, to contact her. She'll give you my information. But to answer it, it's not wrong. No, Shahada means testimony of faith, and all you're doing is testifying that nothing in creation that nothing has the right to be worshipped except for the Creator alone, with no partners, and that Muhammad. And we're not talking about what's his name, Elijah Muhammad. No, I'm not talking about him.
Clarify
Not at all.
that,
I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about Farrakhan. A lot of people don't even know. The Nation of Islam are not considered Muslims to us Muslims. Farrakhan is not a Muslim. Elijah Muhammad is not a Muslim. They are not Muslims. That's all agreed upon. I think we all agree upon that. But we're talking about Muhammad of Arabia, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, approximately 600 years after Jesus Christ, is God's last and final messenger. So when you take your Shahada, all you're doing is you're like it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. You're upgraded. You're not losing Jesus. You're upgrading to the last messenger while accompanying your faith and affirmation or confirmation of faith with those other prophets as well. So no, it's not wrong. I'm definitely here for you, and you can reach me by her.
Definitely.
Or through her.
Yeah, no, definitely give you the information. What and any other ones. That's it.
No more questions?
That's it.
That was the last question.
Oh, the producer, when the producer don't want to do her job.
Like it's hard doing everything.
It is okay. So I mean, I don't know. Do you have any more questions just randomly that you could?
I mean, I thought I had so many.
I did too.
So well.
They really, you guys really did.
Can I ask a question that maybe they forgot to ask?
There you go. Go ahead. Definitely.
How do you all deal with jealousy while I'm away from you? Like, meaning my question is to them, how do the individual wives deal with jealousy, or if they even have jealousy, how do they deal with it, or how do they cope not being with me on the night that I'm with somebody else?
Good question.
Well, she said they popping popcorn, they watching movies. Girl, come on down.
I'm
I'm
the one that always wanted polygyny, so I have the least jealousy. I don't think I have jealousy. So for me, when his nights aren't with me, I spend time with my kids. I like watch movies with them. I watch movies with her. I learn something in the religion. I do something for myself. That's the time that I get to just hang back and relax and do something for me. So yeah.
Me, me and my daughters, we of course hang out. Sometimes it's also with the co-wives. We do classes, we learn. We do classes, we learn, we study. So that's basically what we do to, visit family, visit friends. That's what we do to basically keep our mind preoccupied and doing other things. That's it.
Me, I'm the planner. Time away, fine, that's cool. We come back, we got A, B, C, D, and G, E, F, G, J, K, L, Z, P. Like you know what I mean? It's like that time away. It gives you time to miss him. It gives you time to miss him. So like, oh my gosh, I wish he was here right now. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see him. So when you do see him, it's fireworks all over again.
So let me ask you this, because I know you said a lot of, I guess it's different for each situation where some people are not in the home with the other wives. But by you guys being all in the home, is it like when you come in, you still greet everyone, but then you have your time to, so it's not really like, you don't miss the person you live with. That's just like somebody being in another room. It's going too deep into it. So I guess my thing is, like, if you guys do family things together, does that coincide with the person's day? Does that take away from her day? Like, so let's say you guys go on a vacation for 4 days, but you're taking all the kids and all three of you are going. Is it still like, this is my day, so y'all gotta go get lost?
No. Sometimes, okay, if we do stuff like that all together, he'll put it that it's not nobody's night.
Oh, gotcha.
And so we all go together, or if all go here, all go there, whatever case may be. Yeah, it's not nobody's night. So wherever we stopped at, after we come back, we pick up from there.
Gotcha. This is why this works so well, because you all have a fair husband. Like, he really is fair. That is because we have communication. And the communication. You said that in the beginning. Laylah said the communication between all of you was really good, and that in any relationship, communication is definitely key. So I'm gonna just real quick answer, because I wasn't gonna answer this question, but I'm gonna answer real quick. To the brother who asked, why did I leave the fold of Islam? I never left the fold of Islam. Because you see me in this way does not mean that I am not Muslim. It just means that I am in a place right now where I am trying to be able to fully find comfort and understanding and true clarity in Islam. So that's the answer to that.
They right there.
They're right there.
Right.
And look, let me tell you something. I ask a lot every day when I pray to bring me closer to Islam, and to not just to Islam. Let me correct that. I ask a lot to bring me closer to Him, and because I am so religiously broken, I ask a lot to allow me to be closer to Him through the religion that is the true religion. Because honestly, and I had some things happen in my life, so I ask Him, if it is for me to be Muslim, please send me a Muslim husband and allow him to help me in Islam. If it's for me to be Christian, then send me a Christian husband. So I ask a lot of that all the time. If I'm to be Muslim, then please bring me back to Islam, fully, and allow me to have clarity and understanding in it, with someone. So Allah could be sending Muslims my way right now, but I just want to make it very clear, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that be like, oh, so you just left Islam. No, I did not just leave Islam. And I'm going to let the brother speak.
I have a suggestion.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Maybe this is a suggestion, because I'm here on your show. Maybe the one day you can do a topic on how do we know which religion is right, and I can come and talk.
That's a really good topic. In conversation we can have all of it. That's a really good topic, though. Definitely.
That's one of my favorite fields to deal with. So
okay, yeah. Definitely, more than welcome. Inshallah, definitely. Another question that I personally have is with the children. I know you said earlier on in the show that your daughter is the one who said something about you all living together. So I'm just, I guess roughly, because you said it's 15 of them, but roughly what are the ages of the children as far as like the oldest to the youngest?
What is it, 15?
All together?
My children don't live with me. My children don't live with me.
Oh, but they don't. But they accept them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying, if people thought they don't all live there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying not 15 in one house at one time.
Yeah.
I pretty much figured that out.
Oh, okay. Oh no, I was really thinking 15 in one house. If I had 9 in one house, I was like, they got more than me. No, but okay, but either way, they still all accept everybody, even from the oldest to the youngest. They all accept, so nobody's confused.
It was just there this weekend. I brought my kids there this weekend, all of them. Playing with them, they play, they go on the PlayStation, they go to the park. Their kids take them to the park. And just a notice here, because I don't think anybody asked this question. I don't have children with any of them.
Yeah.
Really?
I asked before the show, and you said no. But I didn't ask while we were on air.
That's a good question, because let me stop eyeing me. But so are any of you wanting to have more children?
I can't.
Yeah. Okay. Because that would be a plus, I would think, also in having a co-wife, if not being able to have children, and having a wife that actually could have children, and you could still experience that,
That's another wisdom in taking a co-wife.
Definitely. That's a definite another plus. Yeah, so, and that's probably another reason why I decided, like, if I do get married, because every brother that I meet, they're like, oh, so you have 9 children and you having some more? Absolutely not going to be able to do that. However, inshallah, we can find somebody else after we get married and have the baby. So, yeah.
There was one time when this lady asked me, she said, well, how come women can't have more than one husband? So I said, let's just deal with some wisdoms. I said, if a man has more than one wife and they get pregnant, he knows that everybody knows who the father is. So I said, suppose a woman has more than one husband, she's pregnant, it's going to be a war. Because if a man wants a child, if a man has a passion for a baby, he's like, yeah, you heard though? Shelly pregnant, I'm making this up. Shelly pregnant, and he about to have little Derek or something. And he's like, nah, man, that's John about to be born. And they're like, what you mean? And then
wow, that would be
that's just
as much as I joke about the whole 2 husband things, like that would really be in that would definitely be. And I would just think for a woman, I don't think any woman would really want to share herself that much. That's just a bit much. So
as far as sharing a husband.
No, I'm giving it to you.
Oh, thank you.
As far as
so bad hugging the fan, I don't want y'all to think I'm just selfish.
You want 2 husbands?
No.
What
I was saying was that's a lot of that's a lot to put up. That was one of the questions. Having 2 husbands.
It was more indirect.
Oh, it was indirect. Oh, okay.
Well, me personally, I don't think I could keep up with 2 men. Like I just feel like you're supposed to submit yourself to one.
Yeah. I always go back to Adam and Eve, right? And how Allah created Adam and then created
I said that you have what we call a natural fitra. A fitra is a natural disposition towards God. Like, you know, and men and women are created. We're the same. We're equal in like duties to Allah. Like Allah says, both of you pray, we'll get the same rewards. And a woman can get more rewards than a man if she prayed. When we say different, we're not the same. Our responsibilities, our roles, our anatomy, totally different. So men can do some things that women can never do, and women can do things that we can never do. We can't get pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant. We can't be pregnant. Y'all can be pregnant. We are leaders. God made us leaders over certain things because why? We're not emotional. That's not a bad thing. It's just emotional. Imagine if Hillary Clinton won. She might have an old enemy over there. So let's bomb them up. I'm just an example.
Because we are emotional creatures. That's so very true.
But then we got Donald Trump. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then we almost ended. But, okay. Well, I mean, that definitely. I don't know. Does that sum it up for my questions? It does. Sum it up for your questions because that was a lot. That was a lot for me. But you guys really were very informative. For me personally, and I hope for everybody, and I know there's probably like 2 billion questions because I just scrolled myself to try to read some. And after the show, we'll definitely make sure that each of us will be able to go through the questions and comment underneath them because there's no way in the world we could read all of those questions right now. I mean, you can read maybe one more question, but there was a lot. So I know.
And we're on a lot of different things right here, pages and YouTube.
Well, I just and we're on YouTube as well. So definitely just a bit much of the questions, but I want everybody to know that we truly appreciate all of your questions. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and if there's anything that I forgot to ask, trust me, this was more of a emotional topic for me than I thought it would be because I needed to kind of find some peace within myself. Like, you know how you feel bad that you didn't accept something? And I almost felt like Allah punished me for not accepting it, and that's why things happened the way they did. But I feel a lot better now because I didn't even understand it as much as I wanted to. You know, all I really knew was that my feelings were hurt. You know, and I just felt like, how could this happen to me? You know, I think a lot of women feel like that. Even Muslim women, you know, not just Christians or anything. Muslim women in general, I'm sure feel like, oh well, you know, they feel like the emotional side first, and they allow their emotions, like you said with Hillary, like you allow your emotions to make a decision for you as opposed to allowing yourself to really think past the emotions. And then another thing I could just say is when you fall in love with yourself and then you fall in love with Allah, it allows you to see things so differently. It allows you to like really accept things and see things so differently than when you just love him because you just want that actual emotion, you know, and that physical part.
Before she asks that last question, can I just say something brief?
Of course, go ahead.
Remember I said in the beginning, I don't know if it was off air or on, I said the biggest problem with the man and the woman is a lack of knowledge. If you don't know something, you're going to have all types of ideas, opinions, whatever. But there's a famous statement from the past, and to be specific, Imam Bukhari, he said this. He said, may Allah have mercy on him. He said this. He said, knowledge is a prerequisite to speech and action, because if you speak and you don't have knowledge, you're going to cause some harm. If you act and you don't have knowledge, you're going to cause some harm. So a lot of the women, they will come to know, like you just said, with more knowledge, with this little scenario right here, you got a little bit better because knowledge came. But before then, we had, you know, or you had pictures in your mind, observations from what you've seen from the past or whatever.
That's true.
So, and remember what I also said, what the Prophet said, he said, if you get these three qualities, then you have the sweetness of faith. Number one was loving Allah and his messenger more than anything else. So if that happens, that leaves no room for personal feelings. That's it.
And I think for those out there, if you associate being in I'm gonna say it wrong again because I'm gonna learn polygyny with an N.
Yes.
Okay, in polygyny, if you associate that with being in a relationship as a mistress or a side chick, it's absolutely not. Like there's a huge difference. Yeah, there's a huge difference. I mean, I could see that from, just the beginning of the show. I could see that.
We covered two main things, and that was one, you now have the knowledge because everybody was assuming that they all sleep together.
Yeah,
and that was one important fact. And the second one was that anyone can have multiple wives in various religions. He answered that. So
that was knowledge for me.
I knew that in Christianity, but I knew that some people they don't agree with it, but it's very much
there's one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go
ahead.
Most women, let's have a keep it real moment. A keep it real moment. Can we do that?
Just be honest.
Playhouse.
Go ahead.
Most women, if not all, listen to what I'm telling you. Most of you, some of you don't want to accept this, but it's not my job to be responsible for how you feel. I'm telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
A keep it real moment. Most women are already doing this. They just don't know about it. Listen.
Absolutely.
Most women, you can have. I'm telling you. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I say that. No, some don't know. No, some.
No. I know. Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Because, accept it or not, I got proof. Men are not created monogamous. We're not. You are. Women are created monogamous. We're not. But that doesn't leave us with no responsibility. Allah, knowing that He created us like that, gave us a tool, polygyny, with a limitation of 4 and responsibility. Why do you think that you always hear women say, "Oh, he a dog"? Because why? His nature is not to be a dog. His nature is to want many women.
Yeah.
But because he's not guided, he doesn't have knowledge. Once again, he's going to do it the improper way. So when women see this, and when they do finally hear about polygyny, they're like, I ain't with that. Don't even know they are with it. They're inherently with it.
You with it
They didn't see it the right way. And with all women can handle this because God does not decree something that He said He doesn't give you more than you can handle. So because He made polygyny on the man, that means the woman, every woman has the ability. It's like Superwoman, right? Every woman has the ability to handle it. You have to seek the authentic knowledge because, like I said, the men are created polygynous. It does not mean that a man can't settle with one. It doesn't mean that he can. But also, he's going to want another woman. It's in our nature, right? So the ones who don't have knowledge, what is he going to do? Oh, look at her right there. And like, he could be with his girl, be like, looking like this. And look, excuse me, intentionally, sincerely, he really don't want to do that. I'm telling you, he really don't want to do that. When we're out, they can testify. I hold my head down. I don't even watch movies because there's some women who I'm attracted to. I won't even watch a movie with a person who I might not really meet in life because she's in it. Because in our religion, you can cheat with your eyes too. So Allah says in the Quran, Allah says in the Quran in chapter 24, verse 30 and 31, tell a believing man and a believing woman to lower their gaze from looking at forbidden things. That stops a lot. So when movies come on, when commercials come on, a lot of girls, they like that guy Idris Elba. Maybe you don't, but some do. When he come on, some they look down. When Sofia Vergara come on, that's mine. I look down. I got to turn the TV off. I gotta run. That's the girl off Modern Family. I can't watch nothing.
I don't even know what it is.
No.
Oh, okay.
I know what she is.
Okay. I mean, but that's the question.
I'm not blushing.
They like it. But look at how they have their inside joke. As soon as he said her name, they all like bust out laughing like, oh, yes.
But that's the point. So even with that, we preserve our relationship. There's certain movies that we're not going to go watch because there's people there who could be a trial for us. When I say a trial, I mean an object of lust, watching TV, like looking, because object of lust causes a mentality thing, a visual.
So I have 2 questions, and I'm gonna just ask both of them, and they totally different. But you can, I guess it's for any of you who can answer. Actually, you know, women, and you know what, it would be good for the sisters to answer this. So one of the things that women will say, I have said, my mom has said. So I'm gonna say, because somebody will be like, "Girl, you say that." Yes, I do. But what is there even an answer to that theory? Okay, well, if Allah created man to have more than one wife, He would have created Eve and Susan and Becky and Annabelle.
Oh my God.
I know I just made up a lot of names, right? But is there an actual answer to that, or is that just the ignorance of the mind?
It's the ignorance of the mind, but the answer is this. Number one, Allah knows best about the present, past, and the future. So when Allah created Adam, He created one Eve so He can populate the nation. That's just common sense. So some people are like, well, that's incest. No, because you have to look at the knowledge now. The hadith says, the story says that every time that, a lot of people don't know this, when Eve got pregnant, she had twins, right? I don't know if y'all knew that, but every time she got pregnant, she had twins. And for an example, her first set of twins, it was one boy, one girl. They came out. So when she got pregnant again, twins again. One boy, one girl. The boy from the first batch cannot do anything with that girl from the first batch because we got to be populated, right? So the boy from the first batch of twins had the when you grow up, marry the girl from the second batch in order to populate the nation. That's why we look like each other. That word that she always say, doppelganger, which we don't know about. We call it twins. I don't know what you're talking about. But you can look at somebody and say, well, like we just saw your daughter. Your daughter looks exactly like Laylah's daughter. But where does that come from? We all come from the same man. So in all senses, we're related in that way. But at the same time, if today of a father, this is disgusting, has a relationship with his daughter, we'll call it incest, which is true. That's incest. That's disgusting. But why is it not incest with Adam and Eve? Because of because the population had to be populated, and it was done in a certain manner. The first batch cannot mess with each other or marry each other when they grow up. It had to be like that. So, but that's the answer to the first part. That it had to be one Eve to even start a population. But now, when Allah knows the future, He knew, He always knew that women. He decreed that women would be more than men. Hey, what are they going to be destitute, left alone? And what did we say? You love for yourself. You love for your brother and sister what you love for yourself. So because Allah knows He's the creator, there's going to be more women. He sent messengers with these revelations saying, look, this is what you do to have harmony and not chaos. Because if every man got married, like I said, there's going to be a group of women left over. What are they going to do? Allah knows that was going to happen. So He gave us a responsibility, and we're doing it.
Very well said. Very well said. So this I want to word everything right. And usually I'm not on my best behavior wording things right because I usually say what I want. So I really have some love and respect for you because I want to make sure I word things properly and being respectful. Okay, so if down the line, if down the line he decided he wanted to marry again, how? And I know we talked about this earlier, but this was a question that I had earlier that I didn't really ask. If he decided to marry a sister that I'm gonna just say didn't cover the way that you guys cover with the full niqab and everything, would you all feel like it would be your duty as wives to have her, cover the same way? Would you all? And I'm just asking personally because I have, of course, I've been around sisters who've been married, who's been co-wives, and some sisters will wear the niqab, and some sisters won't wear the niqab, and then I see the friction in that, So I know that there's no friction with you all. I see that they got love, they bonded. We see that. But however, another sister coming in, would you feel like she would have to be that?
None of them wore niqab when I met them. That's the
what?
Oh my God! I didn't understand fully the ayat. Once you understand a verse in the Quran, then you start understanding that you're doing it for Allah. You're covering for Allah. You're pleasing your Lord, like I said earlier. If a sister comes in and she's not covered, of course, like this is in the same sense. We love for our sister, we love for ourselves. And one of the things that I always tell everyone when I first came in is our goal is to get to Jannah, which is paradise.
Of course.
So if you see a wrong, you're going to have to say something, but not in a sense of being rude or disrespectful. You're saying it in the sense of loving her, having classes. Exactly. Maybe she doesn't know. So that's helping her in that sense of, okay, I understand. I'm doing this for Allah. I'm doing this for, to help me get to Jannah. So that's basically it.
She said it
pretty much. That's why I was like, what she got to ask?
You might say something.
Nothing. Once again, whether it's a wife, whether it's one of your own companions, whether it's a stranger, whether it's this, whether it's that, once again, it's that sisterhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you are my sister in Islam. I want what's best for you. I want what's best for myself. So I'm going to help you. I'm going to speak on it. We're going to do it.
I would definitely expect you all to speak on it. But I think for her, I don't know. I can't speak for her, but I would just sitting here looking at you all, and you're all together. You have this amazing bond, and of course, you all are covered in niqab. So I would say that you all understand the ayat that you're speaking about together, and you agree, and this is definitely what you want to do. However, I would see for me looking in, like from the outside looking in, if a sister was to come in and she just felt like, oh well, I read that, okay, but I don't want to wear niqab, that's not what I choose to do. I'm just curious if you all would you feel differently about this sister? Would you feel like, okay, we just can't be you know,
I don't
is
think
close knit.
I don't think it has anything to do with your garb. It has to do with your character. I'm not looking
Definitely.
at you like, oh, and it's your journey. Like some people, when they work outside, if she's working outside, I understand like the hardships that it might be. But a lot of times when sisters see us, they're like, oh, I need to wear niqab. Like they start wanting to wear niqab because they feel different. They feel
they're gonna be like,
because I'll be around sisters that don't wear niqabs, and they be like, I'm gonna wear niqab because they see the men staring in their faces, like because you know, so beauty is in your face too. So they be like, I'm gonna get back into it. I don't know why I stopped covering, and you know, so it's their journey that they have to get to. So just being around us, they assist and our daughters cover like this because they want to. And you know, even like my little youngest daughter, she'd be like putting, you know, they just imitate what they see because they see a good, you know, as you know, so
okay. And for the record, before we got on air, they said they don't always do this. Like they're not always like this at home, correct?
Yes.
Like in the comfort of your own home. She's like, no, we're not here. So it's not 24/7. I would just look at it like you said, they came today because we're on air and you're covering to protect yourself from men.
One more thing. Laylah made a slight mistake. She said everything correct, but it's a slight mistake. Let me start with me. So if I meet a woman, right, who's interested in joining my family, be anybody, and they say, well, I'm wearing the car, that's not going to be an automatic deal breaker with me. I'm not going to, oh no, I'm going to say this because like I said, a lot of people don't have the knowledge. So what I will do is, because we're actually going over a book we're actually going over a book right now in our live, and it's called Laylah, the conditions to the statement that no one has the right to be worshipped but God. And there's conditions to it. There's 7 conditions to it. And that just briefly is like knowledge, certainty, acceptance, submission, truthfulness, sincerity, and love. Those are the conditions of being a Muslim and understanding this religion correctly under those 7 conditions. Now, because I understand that everybody doesn't have that knowledge, when you meet a sister, if I meet a sister or they meet a sister, the correct Islamic approach is this. Yes, they dress like this, right? And maybe she don't know. That's fine if she don't know. Nobody can condemn somebody because they don't know something. So you sit with her and you say, listen, I'm going to show you the right way. After you show her the right way, there's a statement, Ma'rifatu Dino Islam Bil Adila. You bring Islam with the proofs and evidences. We don't bring nothing from our own opinion. So after we teach her, or after they teach her that this is it, then if she say, I'm still not accepting, then that's a deal breaker for me, the husband, because I have to maintain a household. I have to, because there's going to be tension. They can say whatever they like. And this time, this is where the man comes out. They can say whatever they like, means they will be friendly with her. That's cool. But I have to be responsible in their judgment for any chaos in the house. So if I explain to the sister with genuine kindness and she still ain't with it, she's just going against it because of her own desires, I'm not going to marry this person because me and her are already going to have some friction. And then they're going to have some friction because they're on what I'm on, not because I'm on it, but because I showed it to them with truth and evidence and a law guide.
And beforehand. So I think that because of course, you know, main questions off of things that I've seen bad, but I've seen that friction between wives that cover fully and then the ones that don't cover fully, you know, and just I've seen that in the past, but that was after the fact, so they actually became wives. But you would address that before even marrying the sister, and if that wasn't something that she accepted, then that would be a deal breaker for you.
Yeah, when I met them, like I said, none of them wore the car, but they may have worn it in the past before, but they didn't wear it. So here's what happened. I didn't say y'all going to wear this. I asked them because I also do public speaking and stuff in counseling, but I'm only mentioning that for the purpose of when you counsel somebody or you talk to somebody, without condemning them first, you have to ask them questions to see where their mind is. So I asked them simply, because I know what the right way is. So being that they didn't wear it automatically lets me know is either 2 things. Either they're doing it out of ignorance, they don't know, or they're just rejecting it. I don't know which one, so I have to ask. So I asked them all the same question. How would you feel if you were wearing the car? I didn't say you're going to, I said, how would you feel? One of them or 2 of them said, it's not a matter of how I feel, just I don't know about it. They wasn't against it. And one of them said, I never thought about it like that. They wasn't disrespectful. So I set them down. We talked about it. I showed them proofs. It was nothing from me, like my personal. They can tell you it was nothing from me. It was I gave them the proof from the Quran and the proof from this and the proof from that, meaning the Sunnah. That's why I don't want to say that. The Quran and the Sunnah, the way of the Prophet. I showed them different books that are authenticated, and I showed them, and they did their own study, and they saw it. It's like the prayer. When you make a prayer, everybody who's not Muslim should always make this prayer. And this you don't have to say it exactly, but it should always be, oh God. Call on him directly. Say, oh God, or the Creator, something like that. Allow me to see which way is your way. Say your way.
Yeah.
Say your way. Don't say nothing else. Say, show me your way. Allow me to accept it and allow me to get over my desire when I see it to accept it. And that's it. If you're sincere, I'm saying this. If you're sincere, you're going to be a Muslim. Let me tell you something that nobody in here knows about me, and they just recently know about me. You don't even know this. You knew me before all of them, and you don't even know this. I was raised in a Muslim household, right? I became a Christian. Nobody knows that about me. Nobody. But now y'all do. At around the ages of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and partially of 18, I became a devout Christian. First, it was for the wrong reasons. I was seeing this girl. You understand? And it was for her. It was for her. Trust me, it wasn't for no Christianity. It was for her. I liked her. I was with her. But then I started to get into some of the practice and beliefs. But I never stopped saying Allah. I never said that, and I never said Trinity. Never. But I called myself a Christian. If you asked me was I Muslim, I was embarrassed. I said no, I'm a Christian. But when I went home, I was Muslim. I was praying all this. I was but my point is, that was a lack of knowledge for me, and it just shows that a lot of people are what they are because they was raised. But it comes a point in time in your life where God gave you two faculties, a brain and a heart, and that's why I said maybe you want to do a show because I'd be a great testimony to that because where I came from, where I went, and where I'm back to. But I'm not a Muslim because I was raised a Muslim. Anybody want to know? I'm a Muslim because Allah guided me. I asked that prayer that I just said. But I saw proofs and evidences that I give. And the type of evidences that I say is not like, I deal with universal facts. You can take a lot of people, and it doesn't matter what religion they are, what color. If you all go outside in the daytime, and I ask you what color is the sky, if you're not insane or a butthead, people like, they just want to debate with you. Oh, no, that's the color of the water, reflect all that foolishness. If you're not insane or colorblind, they're going to say blue. That's a universal fact. Everybody has to agree on. I'm talking about those type of facts. I'm going to come with those type of facts. And I was presented with those type of facts, and it made me cry. And the testimony is that when I cried, I don't mean like a testimony that I'm supposed to be giving only to God. I'm just saying the truth. I was crying. I was in a jail cell, 18 years old, down here in Baltimore because I was hanging with the wrong people, and I was crying because I was on that other way. And then when I saw the proofs and evidence, tears fell in the Quran, and the page that it fell on was chapter 5, verses through 82 to 85, and that verse said this. It meant a lot for me. When the tear fell on that verse, it says, Allah said, "You will see the people of the book," meaning Christians and Jews, crying. It says that, crying because they recognize the truth. And I was recognizing the truth. Didn't know about that verse. I was Muslim for that long. Didn't know that verse. I cried, tear fell, and that verse say, "You will see the people of the scripture crying tears." If you have a crying, you can look it up. It's 585, something like that. So, and it says that you'll see them crying because they recognize the truth, and so on, etc. And then I looked at it and I cried even more when I saw it. And then I just dedicated to looking at proofs, and that's what made me the person I am today. Not because I was raised a Muslim.
We definitely gonna have to do a show on that. I have to say, for me personally, I just went to a wedding the other day, a Muslim wedding, and Jenna's wedding, alhamdulillah. And y'all know I say what I want to say, so it is what it is. But I sat there and I said to someone sitting next to me, every time I am in this surrounded by these people and I listen to this brother speak, it pushes me further away from his land.
Wow.
Every time. I swear, I was so bothered. My heart, I wanted to break down and cry. I wanted to.
Me?
No, not you. Were you there?
He said the
No, I didn't know. No, I didn't.
Yeah, no. Okay, I was like, wait, he was there.
No, I didn't hear you.
Okay, yeah, no.
I didn't hear.
No.
You're like me. I did. I'm sorry.
I mean, I love a lot of the Muslims there. I love everybody. However, it's unfortunate things that I've gone through in my life with them. And in that moment when I went there, I often find myself doing that, going to the masjid for Jummah, just because I'm like, let me just go, let me go, let me make dua, let me pray. And I pray that when I go and I'm around Muslims and that when I'm around, when I'm at Jummah or I'm listening to a khutbah, that Allah will bring me closer. But the hate that I have in my heart it's 1,000 times more as soon as I enter.
You want some advice?
No, let me just say this. I'm gonna get some advice from you, of course, but let me just say this. So the other day, Sunday, when I was at the wedding, I was like, I'm gonna go, and inshallah, I'll feel better. I'm getting older. I'm maturing. I'm giving myself, getting over all of the things that have happened in my life when it pertains to the Muslims in that community. Let me just go and break that barrier. As soon as a certain brother started giving a kuba, Allah is my witness. I said, like, I wanted to get up and leave. I was so angry. I wanted to cry. Just the things they were saying. Don't get me wrong. They may be, you know, they could be from the Quran. But the way that it was said and then the fashion that it was said, even the person sitting next to me said, like, this don't even, this, yeah, you know what? I'm starting to feel some type of way too. You know, I think I'm going to leave too. So I say this all not to bash anybody or not to make anybody feel any type of way, but simply because I knew that there had to be some type of good feeling in this land. You know, I knew that there had to be some type of, it had to be. I mean, no matter what confusion I may have in my heart, no matter what anger I may have in my heart, no matter how mad or sad I am about all the 20 years that I've been through in this community, I've been searching for it. And so I'm saying it right now because honestly, seriously, and this is Beyonka's Playhouse, so y'all know I'll be trying to be bad or anything. But I really feel like emotional a little bit because this is like one of the first times, and I don't even know another time where I seriously, sincerely feel good being around Muslims. And I seriously, sincerely feel I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I don't feel like I can't wait for them to get away from me. I don't feel bad, you know, at all. Like I truly, really feel like, wow, like this finally is a moment where I feel okay about being around Muslims. And even with you speaking, you know, with everything that you just said, you know, I mean, I've listened to some of the things that you said, you know, in your live videos, and I've watched one of your lectures, you know, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's nice. But just hearing you right now, just saying this, I'm just being honest, y'all. I'm being honest. Y'all know I can't tell a lie because the law knows best. But I'll listen. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. But right now, actually listening to you, I'm like,
okay, can I
wow.
I feel like depending on what you go through and who you are wanting, who you're surrounding yourself with, that might have been that one bad seed. I feel like in every religion and every place you go, you got somebody that's a little different. You understand what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that everybody, you could have had 5 bad experiences. It doesn't mean that everybody.
No, it's 20 years worth of bad experiences.
Wow.
20 years worth of hell.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes,
for me.
sometimes,
For
look,
20 years.
sometimes the 20 years, the 40 years, 50 years, it goes back to what she said. The people you associate with. Listen, the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said this. He said that the analogy of good company is like an oil merchant. I don't mean like gasoline oil. I mean like oil. You know the fragrances we wear. An oil merchant and a blacksmith. If you go around an oil person, y'all been around them before. You go around an oil person, maybe you ain't got enough money to buy the oil. You just want to smell it. But when you walk away, you're like, I still smell it. It's on me, right? When you walk away, you still smell good. You walk away with a good smell. If you go around a blacksmith, even if you don't do what he's doing, you're gonna walk away with like dust on your clothes, you know, stuff like that, right? So if you hang around good company, genuine good company, I mean genuine, and you don't even do what they do, when you walk away or in your life, that's going to rub off on you. If you're around negativity, you're going to always be around negativity. I talk about that even with business. Out of 100% totality, total, 3%, only 3% out of 100% are business-minded people, while the 97% are minded to work for someone, and there'll always be the broke people who want to give advice on how to make money. You want to go, you want to do a business. They're like, no, that's not gonna work. What's working for you? Nothing. What are you talking about? I'm hanging around rich people, and you hang around broke people. I'm not putting you under me. I'm just saying this is who you choose to hang out with. Right. So your mind is like this person. How can you give? How can a broke person give anybody some advice on how to make money? You don't have it. And I'm not saying you're not good enough to have it.
I was thinking
a broken person. Yeah.
But the analogy I'm saying is that the moral is who you hang around, mentality, the mindset. People want to hold people down. It ain't got nothing to do with Baltimore and the crabs. It's everywhere. You know, people want to hold you down, or they like what you're doing until you're doing better than them. And if you're relevant, trust me, this ain't the first. We do these. We always say this. People try to get to us. They say negative things on other things. Some of them I don't delete. I keep them there to remind me that I must be doing something right because these people saying something. So I like you. I feel good about it and bad about it. I feel bad because you can do what I'm doing. I feel good because keep talking about it. We're gonna get your good deeds.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you guys probably like, oh, she is overtime, but y'all know this is Beyonka Studio, so I can go overtime if I want to. But I just want to just end the show with clarifying just that you all are happy.
Yes.
You all, alhamdulillah, are happy. You all are living comfortably. You all have businesses. You all are financially stable. And you all are following the Sunnah and following Allah's teachings in the Quran. And that is how you all are staying married and yes, married and humble, I would say, because all of you have a very humble spirit, you know. So alhamdulillah, they ain't come on here like, yes, girl, I got a good man. No, but alhamdulillah, like I'm gonna definitely make dua that Allah continues to bless each and every one of you in your marriage. I mean, all right, so you guys, if you have questions after the show, again, you guys can comment. Oh my gosh, boo, I'm sorry. Thank you to my boo Kiara for coming. And y'all, if she don't come the next time, I'm gonna talk about her. But you guys, please continue to watch Beyonka's Playhouse. I'm gonna definitely have the brother back because I think that is an excellent show to do, inshallah, on the true religion. What the true religion is. I think that would be a really good show as well. Please comment, continue to comment in the comments. All of us will answer accordingly. Make sure you subscribe to Akira Queen on YouTube. That's Akira Queen, Queen on YouTube. And if you have not already gone to the top of the page, because I know y'all took some breaks. So when you took a break, if you did not go and like this page, please, after the show, like the page, follow the page, and tune in for the rest of the shows because we have a show on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Beyonka's Playhouse. Thank you all for coming and sharing your story and sharing your journey and sharing this much needed information with all of us. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. Good night.
Can you pass me my phone, please?
Oh my God. Hit that one. Hold on a second.